study, and it gave you both the IgM.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, everyone, and everyone like the video.
Boca Raton, yeah, in the Sandalfoot Plaza.
Awesome.
It was awesome. It really was. It was cool, and it's easy, it's simple, and I'm telling you, that's the way to go. Forget this 10-day nonsense.
Doctor recommended. Can I say that in the commercial now? Doctor recommended. Any lab test now in Boca
There you
Raton.
go. Doctor recommended. Yeah, it was really kind of cool, and it was wonderful, and it was easy. And listen, to that end, go over and get tested. This is the test you want to get. It tells you point blank, did you have it, do you have it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
That's great. So Dr. Mitch Matez personally recommending any lab test now of Boca. You heard Dr. Mitch Matez. Any lab test now of Boca is doctor recommended for coronavirus testing. They're located in the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsboro on the east side of 441. Give them a call, 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood over by the Coral Square Mall. Their number, 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show. Have you gone without insurance through the Affordable Care Act because you thought you couldn't afford it? The times are changing. And exciting.
Hey guys, welcome. Sorry, I was just reading over some news stories that I'm going to be talking about.
People buying insurance.
My apologies.
Even people making over 400% of the federal poverty level can get insurance now and not pay more than 8.5% of their income. There's talk of people currently paying less than $100 per month, and you could possibly pay $0 per month with these new changes. It doesn't cost anything to check, but everyone must take action. The special election period will end, but the sooner you take action, the sooner you can start saving money. Call Dan at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
Here we go.
Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE-1.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Yes, to another exciting day. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. It is 6 minutes after 6, Thursday morning, April 15th, 2021. And man, is a lot going on. Matt Gaetz was totally exonerated yesterday in 2 different instances. You heard me right. Matt Gaetz totally cleared yesterday. 2 different instances, both from liberals. Cleared by liberals. 2 liberals yesterday, separate and apart and unconnected, other than through the world of liberalism and mainstream liberal media. Matt Gaetz totally exonerated, totally cleared by 2 independent sources yesterday. I'm going to get into that in a bit because it's a huge story and it should be, I haven't seen it on Fox News yet. Have you? And also, we're in a world now where the police are going to jail for doing police work. George, $5 super chat. Good morning, coffee. Thank you very much, George. Everybody thank George. Did they have to put the cop in the orange jumpsuit for the mugshot, by the way? Did they really have to do that? I'm going to talk about that. And also, this week, tomorrow, today or tomorrow, probably tomorrow, Friday, the Derek Chauvin trial, the defense is expected to rest by Friday. The court will take the weekend off, and jury deliberations are set to begin in the George Floyd cop trial Monday. And I am of the opinion, and I want to tell you what my opinion is, then and I'll tell you why I say this after, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. I'm of the opinion that in the Derek Chauvin trial, there should be an immediate mistrial declared. There should be an immediate mistrial declared, and it should happen immediately. I found something out yesterday about this trial. Now, I knew that the jury in this case has not been sequestered. You know, being a sequestered juror is a pretty tough thing. This is a short trial. The O.J. Simpson jurors were sequestered. That was a 9-month-long trial. And a lot of you may not remember the O.J. trial, but when a jury is sequestered, they're in the courtroom and they stay in a hotel, and they do not have access to news, television, nothing. And they're very closely monitored so that they don't get any outside input. And the jury in this case, I guess they figured, the judge, there's no need to sequester them because this video has been out for so long. You know, and it's a disturbing video regardless of your position on it. It's a disturbing video. No one likes to see that. It's a terrible video. But this is what I learned yesterday. I learned this last night. And this is why I say there should be a mistrial declared in the Chauvin case, and it should be tossed out because of something I found out about one of the jurors. Now, this BrooklynCenter riot business that's been going on every night. Pretty violent situation going on there. The looting, the fires, the arrest of a police officer, all this stuff. One of the jury members lives in BrooklynCenter. And what we're seeing in these BrooklynCenter riots, which is a suburb of Minneapolis where the Chauvin trial is taking place, what the jurors are seeing is what could happen to this entire major metropolitan area, the Minneapolis area, if they don't come in with the verdict that the community want, regardless of the evidence. When you know, if this jury was sequestered, they wouldn't have seen this violence nor heard of it. There was also another thing, too, yesterday. It came out that George Floyd's girlfriend, you saw the girlfriend testify. She's white. She was talking about how the friend was their drug dealer. Did you know that George Floyd's girlfriend was a high school teacher for Wright? Dante Wright? That's right. There's a connection between these two cases, and the jury knows this. The jury now knows that if they don't come down with the verdict that the people in the looting mob want, that all of Minneapolis could be like BrooklynCenter. How can a jury render a verdict based on the evidence that's been introduced to them when that is going on in their community, and one of them is a resident of that Brooklyn Circle town on the jury? It's in the same county. Now, a mistrial should be declared. This is outrageous. And I'm not defending the cop. Please don't think I'm defending the cop. But we have a system of justice in this country that is eroding before our very eyes. You know, this police officer was arrested yesterday. You've seen the mugshot. She's out on bail now. She was in the orange jumpsuit. That's insane. In uniform on Monday, in an orange jumpsuit on Wednesday. Was there a grand jury that brought forward an indictment against the cop? How did this happen? How do you have an investigation of such an important high-profile incident? The incident happened on Sunday. When did the investigation happen? How did a 49-person police department that short 2 members, a police chief and one of their officers, because she was arrested, the police chief resigned. So it's a 47-person police department. How did they conduct an investigation? How did they interview witnesses? How did they put together a report and then submit it to prosecutors, and prosecutors reviewed that evidence and took it to a grand jury for an indictment? How did they do that by Wednesday after the Sunday when the event happened? They didn't. So I want to hear your thoughts on this. How do you feel that this jury is having the pressure of seeing the violence on TV? They're not sequestered. One of the jurors is from that little suburb, BrooklynCenter. Their own neighborhood, their own home, their neighbors and friends could be gone if they don't come down with the right verdict. Is there any way, it was bad enough this was so high profile, is there any way that this jury, with what's gone on this week, could come back with a verdict next week? Remember, the prosecution rested, defense expected to rest today or tomorrow, probably Friday. The court said they're going to take the weekend off. Jury deliberations will begin on Monday. So these jurors are going to go home, one of them to BrooklynCenter where all the violence has happened. And I'll tell you, weekends is when there's even more violence in these instances. Because a lot of people are off and partying and hanging out on the weekend. No, this trial, an immediate mistrial should be declared. This isn't about Derek Chauvin. This is about the American system of justice. Do we have a jury system where people are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law? Or do we have a lynch mob? I mean, this is telling people on the jury, if you don't convict on all the harsh charges, no lesser charges, the hardcore, this could be all of Minneapolis. By the way, take the weekend off. Go back home, juror, to your neighborhood that's been looted and burning every night, BrooklynCenter, and then come back on Monday and start deliberations. Are you kidding me? Our number is toll-free 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. On the radio since 1977. This is the longest-running radio show in the state of Florida. We broadcast live on the radio on AM 1470, 95.3 FM, and 96.9 on the FM dial. You can also listen to us on the iHeartRadio app and the TuneIn app, both free apps. Search for us by our station call letters WWNN, 2 W's and 2 N's. And of course, watch us live stream on YouTube. You can find my YouTube channel, Brian Craig, on YouTube. And we have a very opinionated and very active chat room going live during the entire program. And you can be a part of the discussion there. That's Brian Craig on YouTube. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. But I want to keep the discussion on what I'm talking about here. Okay, this is not an open phone period. I'll get to the Matt Gaetz stuff soon, but I want to get into this problem with the Derek Chauvin jury. Should there be a mistrial declared and the trial put off till whenever? Remember, one of the jurors is from BrooklynCenter. They're going to go home. Every night this week, they've gone home to violence. They've gone back to the courthouse through what's left of the streets, trash and burned up buildings and everything. Think about that. A juror, not only have all the jurors been watching this on TV, one of them lives in that town and has been driving home to it every night when the court closes. How can they render a verdict, that jury? They're human. Would you? How, you know? That's what I want to talk about first before we get into the other issues. All right. Okay. Those of you on hold, stand by. I will take your calls after the break. My name is Brian. Our number toll free 1-888-GO-CANE 1. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Brian Craig here. I've been telling you for years how great MyPillow products are, but don't just take my word for it. This is one of our listeners, Todd. He bought the MyPillow mattress topper, and he called us live on the radio to tell us about his experience with the MyPillow mattress topper.
Yeah, I'm calling to get testimonial about my pillow topper.
You ordered the MyPillow, the mattress topper?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Well, I was thinking about buying a new mattress because my old mattress was getting old. So my wife's like, why don't you try that pillow, that mattress top? So I went on, I used your promo code Kane. I got a great price. Got it home, and I've been using it for the last 3 nights. It's fantastic.
Oh, that's awesome.
It feels like a whole new mattress.
I talked to other listeners with the MyPillow mattress topper, and they come in all sizes. The mattress companies have turned into con artists. When I was a kid, mattresses were two-sided. You'd have the mattress, then after a while you'd flip it over. Now you can't flip mattresses anymore. They don't make them that way anymore because people weren't buying mattresses enough. So the mattress company stopped making two-sided mattresses, and mattresses are expensive. I've had to buy a new mattress, and mattresses can cost well over, just for a regular normal mattress, over $1,000. So that MyPillow mattress topper is a big savings. It saved you from buying a new mattress and turn your whole bed into a MyPillow.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I really love it. I sleep really good.
Well, that's great. Well, I appreciate that. And you guys out there, remember, promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. Now, when you use the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com, save 30% off your MyPillow mattress topper. And receive 2 free MyPillows. But you got to use the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper. Turn your old mattress into a big MyPillow mattress. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
Yeah, and my wife has ordered me the MyPillow mattress topper for my birthday, and we'll have it very soon. She used the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, just like we tell all of you to do. So we saved 30% off, and we're getting 2 more MyPillows, because when you use the promo code Kane at checkout on the mattress topper, not only do you receive 30% off, you get 2 free standard MyPillows for the bed, which is spectacular. So we'll have 2 extra MyPillows in the house. I guess those will be for guests when they come over. If we have guests again, I guess we'll get past this period. And let me tell you something. That mattress topper is a great Mother's Day gift. So go and order yours. Promo code Kane at checkout. You can also order by phone. 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. All right. We have a full board of calls. I want to stay focused on what I brought up. I don't want to get sidelined on other issues right out of the box early on. I know we do open phones light most of the time, but not here in this early segment. Let me do a quick recap, then I'll go right to the phone, starting from line 1. I knew that the jury in the Derek Chauvin trial were not sequestered, but I'd forgotten about it and hadn't thought about it too much. And I found out last night, well, that the defense is expected to rest tomorrow, Friday. They're taking the weekend off. Deliberations begin on Monday, and that one of the jurors actually lives in BrooklynCenter. So what the jury are seeing, and this is what I want to talk about, they're seeing on television, because they're going home every night, no sequester, they're seeing what will happen if they don't give the verdict to the mob that the mob wants. One of the jurors has been going home every night and driving through it at night and in the mornings through the violence in the city because they live in BrooklynCenter. I believe there should be an immediate mistrial declared in this case. I don't believe a jury could come back there with any verdict that was a true, just, fair verdict. I don't think he can get a fair trial, and it's not about Chauvin, it's not about what happened. This is about the American justice system. This is lynch mob justice that's going on here. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Hey, good morning, Brian.
Hey, Nick in Baltimore. Good morning, Nick.
Yeah, good morning. A couple of things I wanted to chime in on this. You know, nobody's defending Derek Chauvin. I mean, the video is very disturbing, and there's something wrong with that cop. Okay, but the couple of things wrong here are Keith Ellison's incendiary statements he's made in these situations, and with respect to the cop in BrooklynCenter, all of the coverage has been negative. If you've watched court TV at all, those anchors are all anti-cop for the most part.
Yeah, I'm surprised because some of these people they have on there are former prosecutors and things, and they're very anti-police. But if this is in their town, it's a suburb. But how can they render a verdict, Nick, if they see the result if they don't give the verdict that the crowd want? No.
Can't.
The judge screwed up. The judge screwed up by not sequestering the jurors, and the one juror that's going home through this every night for the last week. This is insanity. And they're going to spend all weekend at home watching on. The weekend's going to be really rough in BrooklynCenter because it's the weekend.
I don't understand how the judge didn't sequester the jury. I thought that would be immediate, that they would.
Well, I guess he figured that all the information in the video had been seen by everybody, and it would serve no purpose. He had no idea that this would happen. Yeah. So and also the jury, they've been going home every night watching court TV and CNN and everything too, but the violence. I mean, think about that responsibility as a juror. They have these fences, these security fences around the cop's house. What would the community reaction be to the? We're in this cancel culture age. If this jury doesn't come back with the verdict that the crowd wants, they're going to be identified online, and it's dangerous for them. And you're seeing it in BrooklynCenter.
How about the mayor of the town coming out and wants to defund the police?
Yeah. I mean, this trial is it's not right. This is not. I don't care what your position is on. I'm not defending Derek Chauvin. That video was disturbing. I mean, he obviously played a very large role in the death of George Floyd. Okay, there's no doubt about it. But this is about the American system of justice.
I mean, let me just say this, and I'll go, and that is that I saw the video with Derek Chauvin, and he had his knee on the man's neck, and he's pushing his face into the street. Now, when an off-duty paramedic came up to render assistance, he pulled out mace and aimed it at her. Then when the official fire department came from Minneapolis, I'm sorry, he immediately moved his knee. That's in that video. So there's definitely some sort of issue going on with Derek Chauvin. He's not,
Oh yeah, no, I don't deny that at all. No, there's no denying that. Yeah, but I mean, look what's going on. This is an unfair trial going on there, and now they're going to pack the Supreme Court so that they can have the Supreme Court will become a puppet court if they add the members to it. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Yeah. All right, Nick. Thanks for the call. Nick in Baltimore. Yep. Always has something interesting to contribute. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name?
Hey, Brian.
Hey, how you doing? Can you turn the turn signal off? Because I can hear it clicking. It's driving me nuts.
My bad.
I got good ears. Yeah, go ahead. You're on the air. You there? Come back to the phone. I could hear you better before. Now I can hardly hear you. All right, you might want to call back. Okay. Good morning. You're on the radio.
This is Mike from Baton Rouge.
Hey, Mike. How you been?
I'm good. I mean, look, you're right. You cannot get a fair trial, even though I think there is proof beyond
Florence, $10 super chat. Thanks, Brian and company, for making radio great. Well, thank you, Florence. Everyone, thank Florence for that super chat. Thank you.
Doubt, but that's usually the standard. Beyond a reasonable doubt. Even if they could prove it beyond a reasonable doubt, do you think that with what's going on with this particular juror and maybe some of the other jurors on here, that even if they proved it beyond a reasonable doubt, can they rule that way?
Well, it's hard to have it's hard to render a verdict as a member of a jury when the town you were living in is being looted every night, and that that if you think there's reasonable doubt, and you vote to acquit or even convict on a lesser charge, an entire city could be burned and looted because it's going on right now in a suburb. I don't see how you can come back with a verdict. It's got to be terrifying for these people in this era we're in now of outing people that, you know, don't toe the line. They'll be on, you know, this jury, if they don't come back with a guilty on, it's not just the violence, they're going to be, they themselves could be targeted by the mob, like the cop is.
Yeah, they could be targeted, and you're right about the Supreme Court. They're going to try and pack it, you know, and this whole thing about packing the Supreme Court, the last time it was tried, FDR tried it, and his own party went against him. Now, do they have enough people to do that? I don't think so, but that's just gonna look like the court scene in Star Wars, you know, with all those people, you know.
Courtroom in Star Wars? I don't remember a courtroom in Star Wars.
Not the courtroom, the Senate chamber.
Oh, the Senate chamber. Oh yeah, okay, all right. Okay, appreciate the call, Mike. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name?
Hello.
Oh yes. Yes, a winner.
Hi. David, you're talking about David, the guy in Minnesota.
Uh-huh. Yes, we are. What's on your mind? You called me.
$5 super chat. What is?
Huh? Oh, my goodness. These people. You know, I'm going to take our break, and then we'll be right back. My name's Brian. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, Steve Kane Show. Don't go anywhere.
FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Brian Craig here. Conservative Doug called me up live on the air to tell me about his experience at Friendly Tire.
I had 2 ball tires in the back of my Infiniti. I called them up, and I feel like I was really check prices first. Half the price of everybody else.
Half the price? Half the price at Friendly Tire. Wow.
Half the price, and not only that, his tires, which nobody had, the tires I was looking at, had any mileage guarantee. His is 60,000 mile warranty. So wow. They're not only half the price, the price is good.
So you're a repeat customer over there at Friendly Tire. You bought new tires, right? So you bought new tires, because they also sell used tires, starting at just $30 for most sizes. But you bought new tires, and they were half the price at Friendly Tire than at the other tire shops around town. That is phenomenal, and came with a 60,000 mile warranty on the tires. That's great. And of course, Friendly Tire, they never charge you to mount the tire, balance the tire, or dispose of your old tires. The prices they give you are out the door and on the road. And
everybody should go there. I don't know how anybody can buy tires anyplace else. This guy is the best prices.
That's right. That's right. Listen, give Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire a call. His number, 954. No, I'm not going to tell you what he said. 9445. I heard what he said in my headphones. I'm not going to tell anybody what he said. 977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net, or you can just stop right in. The address is listed at stevekaneshow.com. 5415 Northwest 15th Street in Margate, and that's just a little north of Coconut Creek Parkway on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Well, Conservative Doug, thanks so much, and I'm glad you got such a great deal on your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
If you suffer with diabetes, did you know there's a 25% chance that you will develop a foot ulcer at some point in your life? And foot ulcers, when you have diabetes, can lead to severe health consequences up to and including amputation. Now, Medicare recognizes the importance of preventative foot care and has provided coverage for those of you who are at-risk patients. I want to introduce you to my good friends at the Soul Authority.
My cord wasn't quite long enough for where I was going.
At little or no cost,
there we go.
You can receive your very own pair of therapeutic shoes made specially for diabetics. You're probably not aware, but as a diabetic Medicare recipient, you are entitled to 1 pair of high-quality diabetic shoes with 3 custom inserts per year. These are not the ugly Frankenstein shoes. These are name-brand shoes. They're stylish. They'll provide you with the extra width and extra depth to stop diabetic foot problems before they begin. Oftentimes, amputation due to diabetes is preventable, and one of the preventable measures that is most effective is wearing the proper shoes. Call the Soul Authority at 954-597-7060 or online at thesoulauthority.com. That's THE
Steve Kane Show.
SOLE Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
Yes.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA.
Steve Kane Show.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
Alrighty, we are back. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. I'll take another call or two, and then I'm going to get into this. Matt Gaetz totally exonerated, totally cleared again yesterday. We'll get into that in a moment. Good morning.
Hey, Brian. Hey, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome. Yeah, I had to plug you up to my headset.
That's okay. It happens. It happens.
But yeah, about the Derek Chauvin case, you know, with the hung jury like that, I mean, he's already getting set up.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter. You know, it was bad enough as it is because the video has been out there to get a fair trial. But with what is going on in this city where the trial is being held, you cannot have a jury next week start jury deliberations. It just wouldn't be right.
And as for that Officer Potter, man, they might as well just have painted her face white, put a clown nose on top on her nose. You know, that was a disgrace.
Well, why did they put her in the orange jumpsuit so quickly? Did they really have to do that?
They didn't. They just wanted to bow a knee to the mob.
Yeah, the lynch mob.
Yeah, the mob justice. You know, that's and the same thing is going to be arising too as well with after the Chauvin trial. You know, find out a verdict that they don't like, they're going to burn, loot.
Well, it's happening right now. I mean, it's happening every night in that town. You know, and this is, it's not right. I'm sorry. You know, I know that video is disturbing with George Floyd. I've watched it twice. I'm not going to watch it again. I don't need to see it again.
The prosecutor in the trial said that the witness that was on the stand said that Chauvin used too little of force. Used a lot more. He could have tased him. As soon as he arrived to the scene, with it being, him, with George Floyd being so much on drugs, with that fentanyl, it definitely, it could have went south a lot quicker.
Yeah. All right. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. Good morning. You're on the radio. You know, I'm a very tolerant person. And I'll let pretty much anybody on the radio, but I mean you're about this close from just being banned. I mean, because you have no content. I mean you're not even good at the crank call, which could be entertaining from time to time. And I know you're disguising your voice because you're afraid someone may be listening and recognize your voice. But you got to get some material. No, you didn't say nothing. You're not saying anything here. I'm sorry. Okay, now let me get to this bit about Matt Gaetz, because this is massive. There were two things, separate sources, both liberal and mainstream liberal media sources, that totally cleared Matt Gaetz yesterday. None of them are being discussed. And Fox News, I know they're hiring a lot of people like McEnany and others to try to save face and try to bring people back that left Fox News to Newsmax and things like this. Do not let them fool you. These two things I'm sharing with you on Matt Gaetz, I've not seen them on Fox News. And Fox News was too busy yesterday trying to warmonger and keep us involved in the war in Afghanistan after 20 years. All this business is going on yesterday, this breaking news, the cop arrested, everything. I turn on Fox, Lindsey Graham comes out. They're playing a Lindsey Graham press conference. Who cares what Lindsey Graham has to say? And I'll tell you this, It was President Trump's idea to get our guys and women, get our troops out of Afghanistan. The war's been going on come September for 20 years. I'm sorry that Liz Cheney and her warmongering father, want to keep us over there forever. But it's time to end the war, and Fox News is pushing this, keeping this war going on, America's longest war. The Taliban will think they won. Do you really think they believe they've won over there? Are you kidding? Is this the same people that were there 20 years ago? I don't think so. It's time for the war in Afghanistan to end, and that's what President Trump thought. Don't let Fox News promote a war and get you guys all jazzed up about it. They should be ashamed of themselves what they were doing yesterday. I turned on the 5 for just, less than 5 minutes. And they were, of course, Judge Jeanine was on. I love Judge Jeanine. But they were talking about this, how we can't end the war. We must be there forever. Really? Why? Tell me why. Please. We do take calls here, and you're welcome to call us about that. But I saw the face on Greg Gutfeld. And Gutfeld didn't seem to... I didn't hear him voice an opinion on it. But he had a strange look on his face and was just sitting there as they were hyping up, keeping us involved in a war that has been going on for 20 years in September. The ground game began over there, I think, was it December after September 11th? If I remember correctly, the ground war began in Afghanistan. And Gutfeld seems to be on the page I'm on this. But, he's over there at Fox. So, I don't expect it. They got an interest over there on Fox News to keep this war going. I mean, very disappointed in them yesterday. But anyway, 2 things with Matt Gaetz. One, Politico had a story yesterday. Politico's left wing. It was buried in the story. But it was there. They interview. There was a trip that Matt Gaetz took with this guy that's in the jail right now. Okay. And they got a quote from one of the girls that was on this trip. She said everyone on the trip was over the age of 18, including the girl in question that they keep talking about. She was 18 years old on this trip. There was no one underage. That, boom, totally cleared on that one. Then Project Veritas, this latest release from Project Veritas is probably, the CNN, they got this CNN director. Have you guys seen the video? It's on YouTube. You guys got to watch it. I'm going to play one clip from it in just a moment. But Project Veritas, this latest series they're doing on CNN, and there's going to be another update today. This latest Project Veritas work with the CNN director who's running his mouth at the bar restaurant is probably James O'Keefe's biggest scoop since the Acorn scandal over a decade ago. I'm serious. It's that big. And Matt Gaetz, and what's going on with Matt Gaetz came up during that. I'm going to play the clip about Matt Gaetz. It also clears him. This is from the Project Veritas release this week. It's the CNN director. He works on all the big shows. And he's talking about how CNN uses propaganda. It's a little muffled in the beginning. Gets better a few seconds in, so bear with me. I didn't want to edit it because I want everybody to hear all of it. But he specifically talks about what they're doing to Matt Gaetz.
Can you define propaganda? How is it a mechanism?
If the agenda, say, is to get Matt Gaetz right now, he's this Republican or Democrat. He's a problem to the Democratic Party because he's so conservative, and he can cause a lot of hiccups in passing of laws. So it would be great for the Democratic Party to get there. So we're going to keep running those stories to keep hurting it and make it so that it can't be buried and just settled outside of court and just if we keep pushing that, it's helping us. That's propaganda. It's helping us and stuff like that.
Okay. Now, so what he says, and I know the audio is not the best on that, and when they Project Veritas, they put subtitles on it, so you can hear it a little better when you watch the video because you're reading it, and it helps your ears recognize the exact words that are being said. But what he was asked by this girl to give an example on how they are involved with propaganda, and the example he gave was what's going on with Matt Gaetz. He says Matt Gaetz is a problem for us because he's a vocal Republican who's opposing the Democrat agenda. And they're going to keep doing this until he makes a deal. That right there clears Matt Gaetz. Where the hell is Fox News? Well, they're trying to keep a war going on. I guess their corporate interest, their ratings interest, I don't know what they're doing. Does anyone think that we should keep the war going in Afghanistan, by the way, after 20 years? My goodness, 20 years before that was 81. You can do the math all the way backwards. It's long enough. It depends on when you say the war began. I say it began on September 11th. The ground war began right at the end of the year. It's long enough. Matt Gaetz totally cleared by both of these stories. And, you know, both of these stories that cleared Matt Gaetz yesterday were liberal sources. The CNN director and the Project Veritas release, and Politico, which is left-wing and proud about it. Where are these stories? And the reason you're not seeing it on Fox is because they want Matt Gaetz gone too. See, they're with the establishment. Yesterday, Fox News, a lot of people thinking they're coming back. They're hiring Pompeo, they hiring McEnany, you know. So people think, oh, Fox News, they're coming back. They understand they need us. That's all fake. They're with Liz Cheney over on Fox News. They're with the Republican establishment that's working against MAGA. And they don't want Matt Gaetz cleared on their air, Fox News channel. The real issue that's going on here now is between the Trump and the Liz Cheney wing of the Republican Party. MAGA, Rhino. MAGA versus Rhino. And Fox is with the Rhinos. I don't care how many Trump people they hire over there. They hired that Harold Ford guy. Are you kidding me? We need another liberal Democrat over there on Fox News? Don't trust Fox News. They're liars. Tucker's great. Hannity, he's got some ego issues, but he does good stuff on occasion. Laura Ingram's spectacular. I love Judge Jeanine. Disagree with her yesterday. But come on. And don't let this feud between Bongino and Geraldo keep you interested either. Fox News should have been on the air with Matt Gaetz, clearing him yesterday with both of these stories that I've shared with you. And these stories broke yesterday. I talked about them on my podcast last night at 6 o'clock. So, you know, why are they not running with these? Why are these not the leads on Fox News? Because they want to bring Matt Gaetz down too. See, you know, Matt Gaetz, before he was in Congress, worked for Ron DeSantis. There's a connection there. They're trying to bring down, you know, Ron DeSantis is going to be the nominee in 2028 for the Republican Party. Trump's going to be the nominee in 2024. When he leaves the governor's mansion, Matt Gaetz will probably be the next governor of Florida after Ron DeSantis finishes his second term. They're trying to bring them both down. They're trying to end the Trump MAGA movement, the Trump MAGA dynasty. And this guy from CNN running his mouth on this new Project Veritas video tells you everything you need to know about Matt Gaetz. He's in the clear. He didn't do anything wrong. He's a single guy going out with single girls. He's rich, he's famous, and they party. I didn't know that was a crime. Apparently it is. Let's take our last break of the first hour. First hour, last break. My name is Brian Craig. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We will be back right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Have you gone without without insurance through the Affordable Care Act because you thought you couldn't afford it? The times are changing. I have exciting news to share with you from I Will Advisors. With the signing of the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, the government has increased the subsidies available to people buying insurance through the marketplace. In fact, even people making over 400% of the federal poverty level can get insurance now and not pay more than 8.5% of their income. There's talk of people currently paying less than $100 per month, and you could possibly pay $0 per month with these new changes. It doesn't cost anything to check, but everyone must take action. This special election period will end, but the sooner you take action, the sooner you can start saving money. Call Dan at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080, 954-753-8080.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are state of Florida certified roofing and general contractors, focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Hurricane season is right around the corner. This gives us only a short period of time to make sure your roof and home is ready for the 2021 hurricane season. So don't delay and call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Our website is www.laportacontracting.com, where you will find our latest video and
Steve
live
Kane Show.
testimonials from a few of our past clients. Our number again is 954-604-4602.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
Alrighty, we are back 49 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. So I put a lot out there. I want to kind of focus in on the issues I've brought up so far. I don't want to get off on other things quite yet. Let's go back to the phones. Richie, you're on the radio.
Yeah, good morning, Brian. Yes, good morning. Yes.
You're not sure if it's good morning yet, or you had to think about it for a sec?
No, I started brushing my teeth. You're so fast this morning. Hey, listen, I called you. I left a message for you last night. I don't know if you left it.
I didn't get it, no.
All right. I watched again what's going on, and you were sure with me yesterday when I said this is the revolution.
Well, because I've taught you about this, Richie. I mean, you just can't, you know what. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Goodbye, Richie. Goodbye. You know, I did something I don't do very often. Okay? I did something a couple weeks ago with Richie the bus driver that I've done before, and I don't do very often. Richie thinks that he's sitting in his living room shooting his mouth off, and you can say, we're on the radio on a whole bunch of radio stations. There's responsibility when you're on the radio talking about things, responsibility when you're on TV talking about things. Richie said something on the air a couple weeks back, and I warned him. I said, you can't say things like that on the radio. I dumped it, and he said, okay, and then he said it again, and I hung up on him and dumped it again. And he left a whole bunch of phone messages on, when Steve and I are not on the air, I turn on our voicemail. You hear us talk about this sometimes, and people call during the day, during the night, all day, all night, leaving us messages on our voicemail. Richie had left a whole bunch of voice messages. A whole bunch of them. And he seemed, he was obsessing that I'd let him go because of this thing that he said that you can't say on the radio. And I called him up at night. I called him, it was like 7, 8 o'clock at night. I called him at night. And I explained to him on the radio, on television. This isn't, by the way, one of these restrictions that big tech puts out there that I'm referencing. I said there were certain things you can't say on television and on radio. And I had a long conversation with him. This was off the air at night. I called him. After he left all these messages, and he said, I understand, I get it. He called in yesterday, he did, and did it again. And then he calls back, you were short with me when I said this, and then he says it again. My goodness, my goodness. I mean, what am I, you know, how many people, think about this now, would do what I did? Call the guy at home, because he left a bunch of messages, and have an off-the-air conversation about it. Not many people would do that in my position. And he still did it again. Yes. Well, you got, you know, Richie, I mean, you know.
You still with?
I'm with you.
That the communists have infiltrated the government, and they were talking about that last night on Fox. I mean, they're talking about that the problem is that packing the court and doing all these things are to change our whole system. And they mentioned that Marxism is in the Democratic Party now. That's what I was trying to say.
Now it's been there for a long time.
Well, it's really bad now, and this is all, to me this is all one big thing. The Democrats now want total control of our government forever.
See, this isn't about communism. I'm not saying there aren't communists in the Democrat Party, okay? But this isn't what's going on here. You know, what's going on is everything we're experiencing, this attempt to pack the court, everything that all these issues we're talking about, is a reaction to it's not just the Democrats, it's the Republican establishment too. Okay, it's the Republican establishment, it's the Democrats, it's the bureaucracy, it's the deep state. This is a reaction to Donald Trump to make sure there's never another Donald Trump. I learned a lot about the presidency of the United States with Donald Trump. Donald Trump, I said this through his entire term, Donald Trump was the first president truly elected by the people, not forced upon us by one of the political parties. He won the nomination, but they were talking about a brokered convention, remember. So candidates that are nominated are party establishment people. He snuck through, and he won. And then another thing I learned about President Trump, he is the only president that ever worked and actually ran the country. Other presidents, they just get briefed all day. And what's going on here is not about a communist takeover of the country. It's about the political establishment, the donors, the deep state, and the bureaucracy taking back control of the country from the MAGA movement and setting up a system so that they never lose control. And that's what this is not about, a communist takeover of the country. This is about what I just told you it's about.
You see, I understand what you're saying, and I agree, but I do believe in my heart that the difference between this and what happened 40, 60 years ago was back then the Democratic Party, when there was the riots and blowing up the...
But they're not, no, but see, the Democrats and the Republicans in the past worked together because the two-party system, look, Liz Cheney was on Neil Cavuto yesterday and said she will not support Trump if he's the nominee in 2024. So that's her telling us, in all of the arrogance, right, that's her telling us that she's going to support a Democrat in 2024 if Donald Trump is the nominee. The Democrats and the Republicans worked together in the past because there really are not any differences between the two of them. It's about control over our lives. I never believed that until I've seen what's happened with Trump and what's going on now. And her father, you know, she's Liz Cheney is a government establishment person. This is what it's about. It's not about communism.
Concerned about the Supreme Court changing. In other words, with the guns, okay?
I mean, look at Pelosi. Pelosi is worth at least $250 million. Do you really think she's a communist with that kind of money?
No. But I think she's a total control freak. Everybody.
Well, a lot of liberal women, most liberal women are.
Question: Do you think Putin, with all his money, is a communist?
No.
He's a communist. He's such a
no.
You don't think the Chinese president is a communist?
No.
This money, and they're loaded too. What are they?
No. They a lot of times. By the way, Russia's not a communist country anymore. It's a dictatorship. Putin's been around for how long? I mean, And so far as China, communism is a tool they use to keep control of the people. It's moved beyond that now. It's not like in the days of the Soviet Union. It's a whole different ball game right now. Hey, Rich, I'm gonna run. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hey, it's Mike and Boca.
Hey, Mike.
Medicaid, Ron DeSantis, you can't ask for a better pair of men leading the state of Florida. And Rick Scott. But Rick is, he's both ways. He's with the Republican and he's with the MAGA. That's okay. Screw Fox News. I don't watch them anymore. I stopped watching them. I told you this plenty of times. And I read the little excerpts that Larry Kudlow's on Fox Business. Oh, that's great, but I'm still not watching. Mike Pompeo's on Fox. I love Mike Pompeo. I can watch him. I can hear him on Newsmax. I can hear him on social media. Carol McEnany is on Fox News. Well, that's great. She's got a family. She needs, she's got to someone's got to get a paycheck. That's fine. I'm still not watching.
Listen, I watch everything because it's my business to do. It's my business. I need to know. I need to know what's going on here and what's going on there. So I watch everything because I have to. I think to be properly prepared for what I do. But yesterday, what I saw was a bunch of warmongers on Fox News, obsessed with keeping Donald Trump was for bringing. It was his idea to bring all our troops home from Afghanistan. Now this is a bad idea and it's terrible, and they're going to think we won over there. What are they doing?
That's been Donald Trump's stand since the war started back in 2001. Well, nothing has changed. After 9/11, we went to Afghanistan. I'm like, good, we got to do something about this. Then we went to Iraq, and then like a year and a half into it, I'm like, why are we in two different countries when?
Yeah.
Is hiding, and we're in Saudi Arabia was part of the 9/11. It was crazy. It was like
Listen. The war in Afghanistan. Some of the troops that will be coming home from, and this, by the way, was not Biden's idea. It was Trump's idea. A lot of these troops that are coming home from Afghanistan were born after 9/11. They were born after the war began. What the hell? How long are we going to be there?
I mean, and then Liz Cheney, she put out this stupid statement like 2 days ago, and I commented on it, and I got banned for Twitter for.
Yeah. All right. Well, I gotta run for the top of the hour break. Mike and Boca, thanks for the call. It's 7 a.m. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back after this.
Covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Hi, Brian Craig here. You've heard Dr. Mitch Matez and Steve Kane's wife Lori talk about their COVID testing at Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. I've been tested too. So is Steve Kane and his son Tyler. Today on the radio, Rabbi David called in. He felt that he was getting
Steve Kane Show.
Wanted to get tested for coronavirus. So he went to Any Lab Test
Hold on.
Now of
Steve Kane Show, hold on.
Rabbi David. Hey, Rabbi.
By the way, you might hear congestion in my voice. I actually had a lot of congestion. I was a little sick, and of course, I get nervous that, is it COVID or not? My wife also. So guess what we did? I listened to you. I went down to Any Lab Test Now yesterday, and I couldn't believe it. Went right in there. They put a little tiny thing, you didn't feel it in my finger. Literally 10 minutes later, not a second more, they came back and said, you're fine, negative, great.
Oh, the Glock 48. It comes with 2 mags, and I think I'm not sure how many it holds that it comes with. Probably 10.
I'll tell you, anytime somebody has any type of congestion, all of a sudden...
I get it next week on my birthday because the waiting period.
Everybody around them. It's best just to go in and get the test, say, I don't have the COVID. You know what I mean? Instead of dealing with all the wonder.
And they give you a piece of paper. So yesterday, I had to walk around with it. When people heard, you don't sound so good, I take out that piece of paper and I said, I was tested right here. And I took up the piece of paper and showed it to them that says negative. And
any lab tests now of Boca and Coral Springs, they're good people, and we're very lucky to have them.
They're very caring and full of information.
First, we had a doctor recommendation from Dr. Mitch says. Now we have a rabbi. Rabbi recommended.
Little electronic problem there.
Lab test now of Coral Springs for your COVID testing. Yeah, that's great. Rabbi recommended. Any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. Rabbi recommended by Rabbi David for COVID testing. Rapid coronavirus testing, just $69. But you have to mention you heard them on the radio. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall. Their number, 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza where the Western Beef is. Their number, 561-237-5009. Make sure you mention you heard them on the radio.
Yeah, if you can't tell, I'm like a little pissed at Richie. He's just a klutz.
Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE-1.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977. If you're just tuning in, I brought up a lot. I'll take a call or two, and then I'm going to get back into the issues because I know some of you have been on hold for a while since the top of the hour break. I have broken this morning my number one rule for broadcasting. My number one rule in broadcasting, I've learned a lot working with Steve Kane over the years, but the rule number one is never be angry about anything or anyone when you're on the air. And I'm pissed off at Richie for his stupidity. He's just a klutz with such a big mouth sometimes. All right, good morning. You're on the radio.
Hey, what's going on, Brian? This is Larry, first-time caller.
Welcome.
Man, yes, thank you very much. And a couple things, man. I just want to start off first with you say about Fox News. I agree with you 100%. I've stopped watching. Since with Trish Regan and Lou Dobbs, how they spoke their minds and how they got rid of them, kind of threw them under the rug. I just said to myself, you know what, I'm tired of this. I can't, like you said, there are a bunch of rhinos that are supporting them, and they try to act like they're Republicans, but there's a lot of fakeness there. What's your take?
Yeah, listen, the primetime lineup is different. When I talk about Fox News, I'm not talking about Tucker, Hannity, Laura Ingraham, Judge Jeanine. Okay, I'm not talking. What we're talking about is though the atmosphere of Fox News. It's liberal. It's fake conservative. And what I saw yesterday, there was major breaking news yesterday. We have a police officer arrested for doing her damn job, apprehending a wanted fugitive who was trying to make an escape from custody. They have her in an orange jumpsuit. 2, the city's burning there, right? 3, the jury in the Chauvin case in that very same city is about to go into the deliberations in a couple. They're not covering any of these stories. They cover a live press conference with Lindsey Graham, and I was watching, and Lindsey Graham came out. First thing he did was praise John McCain for some reason, and then he was talking about how bad it is to end the war after 20 years. And I turned off and went somewhere else, and then I turned on the 5 in the afternoon. 5 minutes or less, because Judge Jeanine was going to be on. I wanted to hear what she had to say about it. Well, it was a discussion. I love Judge Jeanine too, but it was another discussion about prolonging this 20-year war and how bad it would be to end the war. Fox News was on a mission yesterday to try to it was propaganda. There was these breaking stories with Matt Gaetz cleared in 2 independent liberal stories yesterday. 2 instances of him being totally cleared yesterday. Not one mention. Fox News was dedicated to warmongering yesterday. And then, right before the 5, they have Liz Cheney on, who's the daughter of a war criminal, according to many people. And I believe that now, by the way. I believe Dick Cheney is a sick man, and she's on there trashing Trump and promoting this war to continue. Come on.
And real quickly, Brian, and I appreciate it. And getting back to Matt Gaetz, let me tell you something. They had this in on Matt a long time ago, and the reason I'm saying this is there's a video. When you get some free time, take a look at it. A couple years ago, him and the so-called Reverend Al Sharpton, and oh man, Matt was getting on him, and you got to see this, man. But I think they had it on him a couple years ago because he's MAGA, and this is what they're doing. They're trying to destroy anybody who's a Trump supporter, and they're doing this to Ron DeSantis, which is a crying shame. The guy's a great governor; he's done everything, and they're calling this guy a racist. Where's the proof?
Yeah, exactly. And they said, and notice how 60 Minutes, that story's dropped. They say pay for play. They accused him of. They accused Ron DeSantis of taking a bribe from Publix and segregate the vaccine rollout, which is a bunch of nonsense. And notice how that disappeared because he stood up to them. And Matt Gaetz was cleared twice yesterday, and by Politico and CNN, both liberals, and they hate Matt Gaetz. And Fox News, they're covering Lindsey Graham, and Liz Cheney that we need to stay in a war forever.
And you forgot to add another station that hates Matt Gaetz, who I cannot stomach. Inside Edition. They're fake news. I can't stomach that.
Well, I haven't watched that in years. Well, I had a friend of mine was on Inside Edition a few months ago. I watched it because they were on there, but I don't watch that anymore.
Hey, real quickly, you were on C-SPAN? Where?
I was on C-SPAN Friday. Yeah, that's why. I did a live interview on C-SPAN Friday. If you go to my Twitter, I have it right at the top of my Twitter. I pinned it. There's you can watch the video. Yeah, taking live calls from liberals.
Yeah. I love your show. I think you and you do a great job controlling the calls. I know you get a bunch of wild people that call up sometimes, but that's radio. And that's your forte, and I like how you deliver. And Steve, I've heard Steve on the show.
Yep.
Are amazing.
Well, I appreciate that. Well, when you watch the C-SPAN interview, it was live, and I was taking calls, and it was liberal after liberal, especially on the conservative line. The nastiest liberals called me on the conservative line, and that's how they roll with it. I didn't tell anybody about it beforehand because I knew they were going to take live calls, and I didn't want the first call to be Richie, the second call to be Al the John. You know what I mean? Because that's how it would have been. Nah, he pissed me off today, but that's okay. I'll get over it.
Somebody from like those old New York movies, like Goodfellas, his character just reminds me of that when I hear his voice, and he gets this wheezy. I think she needs a lot of prayer, that lady, but I know she comes on, calls up.
Well, yesterday's call from Wheezy, Wheezy is becoming very full of herself. She's calling herself Wheezy now, like talking about herself in the third person. That's when somebody's really when someone starts. Like if I was calling myself Brian, Brian was, I'm on, as opposed to saying me or something, she's calling herself Wheezy. That's a sign of an ego that's out of control.
Yeah. Hey, and one last thing, and I'll let you go, regarding this the Chauvin case, and I gotta agree with you because like I said, this is my first time calling, but I have free time to get in contact with you. Real quick, because I know you gotta go now. And I agree with you. It's been very, very boring. But did anyone get this about him working with George Floyd?
Yeah. I lost you there. You got far away from your phone. I couldn't hear the end. What did?
I'm sorry about that. Did anyone mention about them, like during the trial, about Chauvin working with George Floyd? Like someone.
That didn't come up once. I've been looking out for that. Yeah. When it first happened, they said that they worked at a bar together. That Chauvin did a private detail and And George Floyd did a security detail there, and I was expecting, and there was a lot of talk that they had conflict there. I didn't hear anything come up about that in the trial, so that must have been fake. That must have been like a rumor.
Yeah. And then one last thing, getting back to the police, I love Senator Kennedy from Louisiana. What he said, you know what? If you're going to call somebody, you might as well call a crackhead, and he's right about that because you can't only get. We need our police. I support the police 100%.
I think that officer in the Dante Wright case being arrested yesterday is a national disgrace, and then they put her in that orange jumpsuit to satisfy the mob even more. She's out on bail. It's outrageous. All right, take care. Thanks for the call. Welcome. All right, now what I was talking about in regards to the Chauvin case, because there's been developments on that. I was talking about this at the top of the show at 6. I'll do a little recap before I go back to the phones. I knew that the jury was not sequestered, but I'd kind of forgotten about it. And the defense is expected to rest Friday. The court is going to take the weekend off in the Chauvin case, and deliberations begin Monday. One of the jurors lives in BrooklynCenter. They've been going home every night to the riots, to the burning. No one on the jury is sequestered. They've been turning, this is in their community. They've been turning on the TV and watching, and I hadn't thought about this until yesterday, about them not being sequestered. The Chauvin jury have been turning TV on every night and seeing the violence in their own city. And the one juror living there in that town, going home to that every night. And what that tells them is, if they don't come back with the harshest of conviction in this trial, this could be all of Minneapolis. I believe a mistrial should be declared. I do not believe this trial should go forward because of the mob justice that is being demanded of the jury. It was going to be nearly impossible to get a fair trial, but when your city is being burned down prior to you even starting jury deliberations, come on. So, no, I believe a mistrial should be declared. The judge, he made a mistake by not sequestering the jurors, but he couldn't foresee this happening. But it was a mistake. He screwed up. Mistrial. It's my opinion. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hi, Brian. This is Rolanda.
Hey, Rolanda.
First, let me just first say, I say it boldly and proudly, Donald Trump, you are a trailblazer. You were the first to say, and I never will forget it, Brian. He said those wars in both Iraq and Afghanistan were huge mistakes. Huge mistakes. See, George W., to be honest with you, he knows within his heart of hearts it was a mistake. But I think he led by certain forces himself. I think he was duped by his vice president, with all due respect. And I believe, quite frankly, he knows in the bottom of his heart that it's been a failure. When I listened, Brian, at the amount of money they spent in Afghanistan alone, something in the pit of my stomach made me sick.
Well, what about the, they talked about not just the loss of lives. How many American men are walking around with burned bodies and missing limbs?
Maimed because of he and Mr. Halliburton's stupidity and their scheme. They have really, as far as I am concerned, I don't care if I don't hear anything from George W. nor people in his administration. And I'm not saying Colin Powell was all on it, but there's a reason why he got real turned off with George W.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. He went to the UN and told the lies that got the Iraq thing fired up. And
he said he was used.
Yeah, it was Don. They're trying to make this a Biden thing, getting out of Afghanistan. This was Trump. This was President Trump, and we all supported it.
Trump all the way. Because let me tell you something. They smell him coming in 2024, Brian, and they're going to fight it like I all get out. There are forces that are not here in the United
Well, Terry,
States.
Get your own YouTube channel. You can talk about the important issues, all right, Terry?
They are. They are fighting
that I'm missing.
Everything they got.
Anybody can get a YouTube channel.
I'm thinking about how much money went down the drain in a war that was...
Yeah, along with arms, legs, feet, lives. I mean, you know, and I'm watching this. I mean, I consider what went on yesterday on Fox to be warmongering. They're trying to brainwash their viewers and to keeping this war that President Trump said should end going. And Greg Gutfeld knows, because when I saw Gutfeld on the 5, he was very uncomfortable. You guys, let me know what you thought. I thought Greg Gutfeld looked very uncomfortable promoting this keep the war going forever argument they were doing on the 5.
But he's not the only one. There are quite a number of people who are uncomfortable right now, because we got an administration that's spending money of the gazelle. But Biden knows we are war weary. The United States, its people are war weary. We don't need to be in those countries. We were never going to change hearts and minds in those countries. I don't care how many fingers turn purple. I don't care how many fingers turn blue. It was never intended to work.
No, they're bringing back the peace with honor thing from the Vietnam era. They're not saying peace with honor, but what they're saying is, well, the Taliban will think they won. You know, the war was not, you know, the reason we went into Afghanistan, I didn't even hear anybody say it. George Bush told the Taliban, turn over bin Laden, we won't come in. They didn't turn him over, and so we went in. Bin Laden's been gone for years.
They never were going to turn him in.
No, well, bin Laden's gone, Al-Qaeda's pretty much gone. You know, I mean, it looks like mission accomplished to me.
Yeah, but the bottom line, Brian, we now know who the warmongers are, and they've always been people like Lindsey Graham, people like the Liz Cheneys and her daddy. They have always been at the forefront of keeping stuff brewing. They're part of also the military-industrial complex, which Eisenhower warned us about. He warned this country. I read that speech.
Well, what I saw yesterday was on Fox, you know, this argument to keep the war going forever. And keep in mind, we've got soldiers that will be returning home that were born after the war began. I mean, that's crazy. After the war began, that's crazy. And I didn't hear anybody say that on the TV yesterday. But
no one prior to this, Brian, prior to us, would have allowed anything of the kind. They would have thought this to be ridiculous.
Well, what I saw yesterday reminded me of when the ramp up with the WMD talk, you know, to get the American people on the side of going to war in Iraq. And hey, listen, I supported Bush and Cheney every step of the way, including in Iraq. I was wrong. I didn't know they were lying, low-life war profiteers and war criminals. I guess HuffPost was right on them or something. I don't know. But
most important, Donald John Trump was accurate on this.
Yes.
They and right now, as far as I'm concerned, when I look at Dana Perino, when I look at all of them, they're no different than the Democratic Party.
Yeah. All right. Listen, I got to run, Rolanda. Thanks for the call. 20 minutes after 7. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll be right back.
If you suffer with diabetes, did you know there's a 25% chance that you will develop a foot ulcer at some point in your life? And foot ulcers, when you have diabetes, can lead to severe health consequences up to and including...
I'm not being censored.
Now,
I'm not being censored.
The
no one's censoring me. And that's not what went on with Richie. It was something else. I'm not going to tell you. That's why I called Richie politely off the air.
With the sole authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own pair of therapeutic shoes made specially for diabetics. You're probably not aware, but as a diabetic Medicare recipient, you are entitled to one pair of high-quality diabetic shoes with 3 custom inserts per year. These are not the ugly Frankenstein shoes.
It doesn't matter what they're doing, Scott.
Shoes. They're stylish. They'll provide you with the extra width and extra depth to stop diabetic foot problems before they begin. Oftentimes, amputation due to diabetes is preventable, and one of the preventable measures that is most effective is wearing the proper shoes. Call the sole authority at 954-597-7060 or online at thesoulauthority.com. That's THESOLE authority.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
All right, welcome back. 22 minutes after the hour. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show. Yeah, so Liz Cheney. President Trump's about to endorse an opponent to Liz Cheney. I hope it's a good one, President Trump, because she's bad news. She's bad news. And Liz Cheney voted to impeach President Trump. That's all you need to know. You know, and she went on Cavuto yesterday. Let me just play this. This is Liz Cheney on Neil Cavuto yesterday.
If Donald Trump were the 2024 nominee, would you support him?
I would not.
Okay, Liz Cheney.
Yeah, I would not. Oh, yeah, all right. Yeah, that's hard-hitting. Love that follow-up, Cavuto. All right. And this was after she went on telling us how we've got to stay in the war in Afghanistan. You know, Liz Cheney, on this moral high ground, this moral high road, she's morally superior to our great President Donald Trump. Really? She was the one who had the focus group and look at opinion polls to let her know whether or not she was going to condemn her own sister because her sister's gay. Remember all that business? How many people are dead and maimed because of her father? And she's supporting continuing this? I'm sorry. Terrible, terrible. You know, Cavuto hates Trump. Cavuto hates Trump. Now, let's talk a little bit about this packing of the Supreme Court. They're making a move to put 4 new members of the Supreme Court on. And, of course, you know what that means. With their, they can't get away, they can't get rid of the lifetime appointments to the federal courts, which includes the Supreme Court, because it's in the Constitution, and it'd be nearly impossible. But the Supreme Court over the years has had a different number of members than it currently has, and it doesn't state in the Constitution how many members, so they feel this is an way around it. And the court packing, people keep talking about how it failed with President Roosevelt. What happened with President Roosevelt is very similar to what's happening here. A lot of people don't know this. The New Deal of President Roosevelt that they credit with saving America was one of the most racist pieces of legislation ever passed since slavery, the slavery era, by the federal government. Black Americans were excluded from virtually every aspect of the New Deal. All these jobs and everything, Black Americans need not apply. Oh, they built Hoover Dam. Have you ever seen a black construction worker working on Hoover Dam? No, that's right. But the Supreme Court, see, there were people challenging the constitutionality of the New Deal, and the Supreme Court actually threw out almost the entire New Deal. The Supreme Court ruled that virtually the whole New Deal was unconstitutional. And Roosevelt was having a fit. So that's when he started talking about packing the Supreme Court, which would mean that the Supreme Court is a meaningless body. They want to, and of course, adding members to the court, he would have got to add, and that's what Biden's talking about. He'd appoint people right out of law school, 26 years old, that'll be there forever, and boom, the Supreme Court no longer means anything. Once you go to the Supreme Court, there's nowhere to go. And this Supreme Court is led by a Chief Justice appointed by Bush, G.W. Bush, that is another rhino who rules with the liberals all the time. I know we've got a majority conservative Supreme Court, but, when's the last major conservative ruling on a major issue that's come out of this court? And I know a lot of people say, well, this doesn't have a chance of passing, adding 4 people to the Supreme Court. It doesn't have a chance of passing. Democrats play a very long game. This is part of conditioning people to accepting it. Don't you understand? adding 4 members to the Supreme Court may not happen now, but they're going to get people accustomed to the idea. I used to think it was so ridiculous. I would hear Rush Limbaugh talk about government regulation getting so out of control that one day they're going to regulate our sugar intake. And I used to talk about, come on. They're never going to regulate our sugar intake, the government. And then boom, New York City outlawed the big gulp. Remember that? With Bloomberg? And it happened. So they're not going to get 4 members of the Supreme Court now, but they'll get more members added in the future. This is what they do. The felon vote. They were talking for years about getting the felons the vote. Oh, it'll never happen. It'll never happen. In the last election, here in Florida, it was on the ballot. I voted against it, but it won. Most voters in Florida voted for felons to get the vote. And of course, nonviolent felons. Well, that's now. They're already advocating to give the vote to people that are incarcerated. Don't you understand? It's like a wife will go shopping on a shopping spree, and she'll buy way too much, and she knows her husband's going to be pissed. She spent $500 at the mall today, and she knows her husband's going to be pissed off. So she tells her husband that she spent $800 at the mall, and he explodes. And then she says, I only spent $500, honey. And he says, oh, he's relieved. You understand? That's what they're conditioning. So, I want you to think about this now. Because I've seen this happen. As you get older, you see these things happen all the time. Felons have the vote. How many places have legalized marijuana now, a legalized drug? When I was growing up, Nancy Reagan just said no, right? Just Say No was a big campaign. It was everywhere. That's all you heard about. And now it's legal. All over the country, marijuana. Okay? And that was for many, many years, advocating against it. And it's becoming more and more legal and common every day. In fact, I've suspected this for a long time. Eventually what's going to happen is the big tobacco companies are going to start producing marijuana cigarettes to buy by the pack at the store. That's coming. So, yeah, they're not going to get 4 members of the Supreme Court now. But this is the beginning of conditioning. And down the road, they'll get 2 or 3 more members. And and they won't let it happen until there's a Democrat president to appoint those extra members at the same time. So it is going to happen. This year, the last 12 months have been the biggest shift in our American culture that any of us have experienced in our lifetimes. There's been big shifts in the country over the years, but this is the biggest one that we've experienced, most of us at least. And look at the freedoms you've lost. Can't go to church, can't send your kids to school. We've lost our freedom of movement. You've got the President of the United States telling you how many people you can have at your private home, at your backyard barbecue on the 4th of July, on American Independence Day. You understand what I'm saying? So they will get members added to the Supreme Court. Not this year, maybe not next, but they will. And it'll happen when there's a Democrat president because they want the Democrat to appoint them. Let's take our break for the bottom of the hour. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. We'll be back right after this.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Have you gone without insurance?
Steve Kane Show. Yeah, hold on. Steve Kane Show. Oh, hey, Barry, hold on.
is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1
Steve Kane Show.
FLA 3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, welcome back. And on the line, we have Attorney Barry Siegel, our elder law attorney, estate planning attorney, and, of course, Medicaid planning attorney. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. How are you?
I'm doing great. What do you have for us today, Barry?
Well, Brian, the thing I have for you this morning is asking ourselves, is our estate plan that we have now going to work for us when we need it? Now, right now I'm just talking about the estate plan that you may have drawn up, either yourself through some online process or with an attorney or so on. Does that estate plan have the current people in there that you want? Does it have the right beneficiaries? Does it have the right distribution? Does it have the correct trustees, the people who are going to step in during your incapacity or distribute your assets at your passing? Is it going to help you become eligible for Medicaid to protect your assets during your lifetime? Will it give your children and grandchildren the bloodline planning? Is it even done correctly? Do you know these questions, the answers to these questions? Is your estate plan done in another state? Are you a Florida resident, or are you planning to remain a Florida resident? So do you have a Florida estate plan? All of these are questions that you should have answered, and we can help you answer those questions by coming in for the free review that we offer to your listeners, Brian. So, but you really need to know that you have an estate plan and have that peace of mind that you have an estate plan that's going to work for you and your family.
Yeah, and, you know, whatever your estate plan is, it's not the kind of thing, right, Barry, that you get done, you put it in the filing cabinet at home, and it sits there and until you pass for many, many years, because things in your life change. And I think when you do reviews, I would imagine people are shocked at how much of their estate, how much of their wealth is not included in their estate planning.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's why we do the 3-year reviews with our clients to not only make sure that the plan as written, you know, where they have the right people and the right provisions, but also to make sure that their assets are properly titled in the trust. Because even when people do an estate plan and they do everything right and they fund it properly, things change.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, and those of you out there that are grandparents, you know, we're this year of lockdowns, we're going to be approaching another baby boom. No one's really talked about that yet. There's going to be another baby boom. And are all your grandkids, are they covered in your estate documents? Has there been a divorce because they've gotten on each other's nerves during the lockdown? And now, you know, there's all kinds of things happen. Listen, give Attorney Barry Siegel a call. It's a free consultation and free review. If you already have an estate plan, totally free review. If you don't have one, free consultation for that meet too. 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. And online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we will finish out the week tomorrow.
All right.
All right, take care. Take care. All right, and I'm not sure we have Steve. Steve, are you with us yet? Not quite yet. Okay, let me go back to the phones. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name?
Carissa.
Hey, Carissa, you're on the air. What's on your mind?
Hey, am I right in saying that Matt Gaetz is cleared?
Yeah, I'm the only one talking about it, but he's been cleared, yeah. Not by the system, not by the, you know, they're still trying to railroad him, but, you know, he was, two things happened yesterday, okay, and both are left-wing sources. Politico, left-wing Politico, had a story yesterday, and they had quotes from an interview with one of the women that went on this trip with this guy and Matt Gaetz. She said everyone on the trip was over the age of 18, including the girl in question that she knows. So there's no underage sex trafficking, clear by Politico. Then yesterday, Project Veritas had a release. They've got this great new series this week on this director from CNN with an undercover video where they caught him, and he was bragging about how Matt Gaetz is a problem for the Democrats. He stops their legislation, and that this attack on Matt Gaetz is propaganda, and they're going to continue it until he makes a deal or resigns. So he was cleared by CNN and Politico yesterday, Matt Gaetz, and no one's talking about it but me.
Oh, no, I know he's not. You know, we all know how women are and how the left.
Well, when you're a single man, I know they haven't outlawed heterosexual activity yet. When you're a single man, you know, and you're young and you're famous and you're rich, you date and play the field. It's not a crime. He didn't do anything wrong. He didn't commit any crimes.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He definitely did not. Now, have you been paying any attention to what's going on with the
what? No, that's unfortunately we can't get into that. Good morning, you're on the radio. Oh yes, Doug. How are you?
Well, certainly he committed a crime. He's a Republican. You can't be a Republican because the Democrats.
Yeah.
Possibly can, but
Maryland, $5 super chat. Thank you, everyone. Thank Maryland. Maryland, not Maryland. Maryland. Thank you.
Another state, maybe, because. Oh, excuse me. Peaceful protest. Burn a police station down. Peaceful protest. How can you have a peaceful protest and not influence these juries?
Well, this jury is not sequestered. They go home every night and watch whatever they want in the news. One of the jury members lives where the looting's been taking place, this BrooklynCenter city. They live there, so they're going home to the burning town every night. And they're on the Chauvin jury? Are you kidding me?
And now they're going to say, well, maybe he didn't do anything wrong, but we can't have the city burned down, so we have to sacrifice somebody. And that's the case should be thrown out.
You know, and this police officer, she was arrested yesterday. It's outrageous. They got her in the orange jumpsuit just to humiliate her and make the mob feel that they've won something. You know, she's not a rich woman, and I don't see any high-profile attorneys rushing to her defense to offer their services. I'm going to make a prediction about her. She's going to need money for a legal defense, okay? And she's going to try to crowdfund online to raise money so she can get a proper defense. I bet you those crowdfunding websites will shut it down and not let her raise money for a defense. What'll happen is she's going to put these crowdfunding things online for a defense fund, and the mob are going to go after those people that own those crowdfunding things, and they're going to shut it down so she cannot raise money to hire a proper defense. I'm telling you, that's going to be something that happens with her. I promise you. Watch.
I'm hoping a big shot attorney will take the case knowing that she did a mistake. She made a mistake. Somebody has or some rich guy.
Well, yeah, but did Dante Wright make a mistake when he pulled a gun on that girl and robbed her and choked her and, you know, jumped bail and tried to escape from the police? What about his mistakes that escalated this? Yeah. Did any of you guys see Geraldo with Bongino last night? Oh my goodness. Geraldo and Bongino, they got an act going together now, right? I don't know if they're enjoying it or not, but they were on again last night, and they were really nasty with one another. And Geraldo, he wants to change where police have their tasers. The way that the tasers operate, you've got the real gun that, you know, if you're right-handed is on your right hip, easy to get to. He wants to put the and the taser's on the left side. He wants to put, Geraldo wants to put the taser on the left side, and on the right side where the real gun should go, and put the fake gun on the left side. So you have to do around the waist reach for your service revolver. And Bongino made a mention of why this was a bad idea, and they were so angry they didn't get to it. He said it makes the gun more accessible to the bad guys that way. And what happens if you're right-handed and you have your gun, as Geraldo suggested, on your left hip, the handle faces outward, right? So if you're a cop, I learned this. Steve and I took a gunfighting course together once by a guy that trained the SAS in the United Kingdom, which is their special forces. And he said, you know, when you have the gun that way, the handle's pointing out, and you're in a fight, the bad guy can reach over, boom, and the gun's ready for him to pull right out and use on you, and it's even pointing at you. But that confrontation with Geraldo and Bongino last night was brutal. Thanks for the call. We've got you know what? We got Steve on deck, so he's ready to go. I'm going to take our last break of the second hour. We'll come back. Steve will be joining us. I'm Brian. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. We'll be back right after this break.
This is Lori Kane, and I'm going to tell you about Wright Dental Care. I just had a lot of work done, and I avoided going to the dentist for a lot of years because I was afraid of the cost. But I went to Brighton Dental for my free consultation, which, by the way, he offers to all Steve Kane listeners. I had 2 cavities, I needed a crown on top and a crown on the bottom. If I were a horse, they would have put me down. So I scheduled my appointment for the next Saturday because Brighton Dental has Saturday appointments available, and they saved me a ton of money. And I will be a patient for life. Don't let cost stop you from taking care of your teeth. Brighton Dental gives Steve Kane listeners incredible discounts on all dental procedures, just like they gave me. Prices are so reasonable, you don't have to worry about the cost. So call Brighton Dental today at 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633. You can visit them at brightondental.com and tell them Lori Kane sent you.
Hi, this is George Corey of the Soul Authority. In this time of social distancing and sheltering in place, many people have been forced to neglect their feet. We at the Soul Authority are making it possible for you to still take care of your feet while remaining in your home, as we will send a doctor to your house for all of your podiatric needs. The best part of all is that Medicare pays for this visit. So, if you're a Medicare recipient, give the Soul Authority a call today at 954-597-7060. That's 954-597-7060. Don't let social distancing stop you from taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian, the Steve Kane Show. Steve, you with us? Gotcha. Oh man, a lot of big stories today.
I fell asleep last night.
Yeah.
The room burned, which I assume it did.
I don't know. I didn't see any stories about any violence in BrooklynCenter up there in Minneapolis last night. No. Well, I guess they arrested the cops, so they took the night off.
Well, the greatest potential violence I saw before I kind of drifted off to Never Neverland was the violence about to be wrought upon Geraldo by Bongino. I've never seen two people get so genuinely angry at each other in talk radio. I was waiting for it to explode. I was waiting for somebody to come in and to intercede and to break it up.
Well, they're not in the same set, I don't think. Because Geraldo lives in Ohio now. I didn't look like I couldn't. Yeah.
Details of their physical situation, because at a certain point they
well, Bongino went after Geraldo where it really hurts with him, and Geraldo's, I'm sure, probably was calling executives up after the show. He was questioning Geraldo's reporting over the years, and Geraldo. Oh, that's the.
He's an old man.
Oh yeah.
What do you know? You know.
Yeah.
And, I don't think Geraldo was in control of himself.
I don't think Bongino was either. They're both so consumed with their anger towards one another.
But the thing I respect about Fox, they didn't intercede. They didn't stop it. I was waiting for that to happen because they were an inch away from going.
Well, Geraldo thinks that he's like some combat reporter. He thinks his reporting is the equivalent to being a cop and a soldier and a sailor and an airman and an astronaut, and he's really done nothing. And what Bongino is questioning his entire manhood and his entire career, and that doesn't. I thought he was going to say to him, "Go back to your naked selfies in front of your mirror, Geraldo," but he didn't quite get there yet. Maybe he forgot about that. Well, maybe that'll be tonight.
I'm just wondering whether these guys are going to.
I don't think they're in the same studio. I think they're in different studios.
The physical setup there, I'd love to get a picture.
It's one of the rare times I've seen Hannity shut his mouth when others are talking. It's not easy for Hannity to do that.
And the expression on his face is really scary.
But I'll tell you, it wasn't fun to watch. I didn't find it fun to watch. Maybe because I liked both of them.
It was a little bit over the line.
Well, I think it's because I like them both. If one of them was like, if it was like Geraldo and Juan Williams or Bongino and Beckel or something, you know what I mean? Because I like them both.
I like them both, sort of, but I mean, Geraldo, is a little bit full of himself.
A little bit full of himself? And he's really done a disservice to our society because of his Willowbrook story in the 70s. We've got all these mental patients were set free in America because of Geraldo. And he's the homeless issue and a lot of the crime and the homeless issue in this country is a result of Geraldo's Willowbrook reporting, and he really did a terrible thing to this country with that. We had a mental institution when I was in Ohio. No, it was bad. When I was in Ohio, because I was in Columbus, the state mental hospital was right downtown. And you'd drive by and you'd see the loons hanging out of the windows, yelling and waving at the traffic, and they don't have mental institutions anymore because of Geraldo Rivera. And the mental patients are now walking the streets of America because of Geraldo, and it's not good. So his reporting has really done a negative. Do you know why he got fired from 2020? I know, it's crazy.
Oh, no.
He did reporting. He found Secret Service agents and FBI agents that he put on 2020 that had audio of Bobby Kennedy and President Kennedy having sex with Marilyn Monroe the same night. Where you could hear the mattress springs and them talk. Yeah, he got fired from 2020 over that this JFK Marilyn Monroe cover. That's how powerful the Kennedys were. Still big shots back then. It was like in the 80s. All right, let's take a call or two, and then we'll bring up some of these huge stories today. Anyone that saw Geraldo and Bongino last night, oh my goodness, give us a call. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Steve and Brian.
Good morning. Good morning to you. We're all in our places with bright, shiny faces. Good morning to you. Good morning to you.
Steve's drinking this morning.
Okay, little musical.
You having mimosas over there this morning, Steve? What's going on?
No. Go ahead.
That was amazing.
Oh, yes.
Geraldo released all the mental patients who never liberals.
No, I'm not kidding about that. Yeah, that's true. I'm not kidding about that. What he did was one of the biggest problems we have in this country is obviously crime, mental illness. You hear people talk about this a lot, and it's 80% of it's because of Geraldo and that story. That was his claim to fame. That's what made him famous.
I'm just being sarcastic, but I did see the exchange, and it was like, oh my God, really?
Well, these guys, there's too much of, there's no saying too much of a good thing. You want excitement, you want friction, you want people on the end of their seats, but there comes a point where if it gets too real, it goes from fun to watch to scary. And I thought they reached that point last night. I was waiting for one of the two of them to lose control. Geraldo would be the one.
Geraldo and Bongino. Bongino is a trained federal agent who was on the Presidential Protection Detail. So he's the real deal. Geraldo thinks he's a tough guy. He's kind of like Dirk Diggler and Boogie Nights thought he knew Kung Fu. You know? He thinks he knows. Geraldo thinks he's a tough guy who can kick everybody's butt because he boxed in some exhibition or something. Bongino's a trained warrior. And Geraldo is not really a tough guy. He thinks he's a tough guy.
Well, that's not actually why I was calling. Why I'm calling is, I'm calling because I actually was watching Fox for the Liz Cheney, Lindsey Graham.
Yes. Yesterday?
Yeah. And then it occurs to me, right, if you look at what the Republican Party is doing, right, because now they're all outraged. They're all, we have to stop them. This is, you know.
Well, what they were talking about was Liz Cheney yesterday and Lindsey Graham were on Fox all day telling us what a terrible thing it would do to end this 20-year war in Afghanistan that President Trump was opposed to and was ending.
I find it boring.
Yeah, boring. Yeah, it's boring, yeah.
But what I'm saying is, what I've noticed lately of the Republican Party, right, now they want to come out like they're fighters, and this is just a classic example. In my local newspaper, I live in Pennsylvania, Joe Mentz has now requested an audit.
Yeah, well, of course, because it's over, and that's the best time to do it, right? Good morning, you're on the radio. All right, what's your name?
This is Maria from Florida.
Okay, go ahead.
Maria.
Hey, how you doing? Oh my God, last night, that was crazy.
Wasn't that wild?
Yeah, it was. It was, but you know what? The guy, he's been doing this for a long time, and he defends the liberals. He defends the unlegals. He just...
Oh, Geraldo?
Yeah, he's out of touch bad. And Dan Bodino, I don't disagree what he did, but I think at 1 minute, if they was close up together, I think it would have been a physical fight.
Well, Bongino, yeah.
Right, if there was a confrontation last night, I'm talking about, that big explosion, who do you think would have first and taken if it got physical and somebody took a swing at the other, who do you think would be the one to lose control?
I think it would be Gretel. He will lose control because he already lost control.
Geraldo, yeah.
Yeah.
See, Geraldo thinks that he's a cop and a soldier because he reported on police and soldiers. And Bongino brought on national TV, he totally took away Geraldo's whole identity with that. And that was really, that really hit Geraldo in the heart. I mean, that was, I could tell.
Yeah, Geraldo's insecure. Well, you know, what can I tell you? He's old and he's worked himself into a niche there over at Fox, which is a good thing. But he's got to learn that the new blood is taking over.
And he hasn't reported on anything in years. He got in trouble at Fox during the war in Afghanistan. He gave a report and he gave out false information about how close he was to the front line. And that came public, and Fox took him off of the reporting beat. I don't think he ever returned to it. He was kind of discredited on Fox News with his reporting.
Let's move on and ask, how will this latest episode, play out? In other words, is this going to just blow away, or is the grudge so deep between these two that somebody's going to lose control and take a swing at?
Yeah, I would have them both on the 5 together, is what I would do today. Have them both on the 5.
I don't think
in studio
he's going to stand for Loretto foolishness. He's not going to stand for that. No.
Well, you know, and Geraldo, he showed it. Listen, Geraldo's very famous, so people defer to him when he says stupid things because people with celebrities, you know, they yes celebrities. like this thing he said that cops should wear their gun on their left hip, so they have to reach over. And Bongino says, well, the handle's facing the bad guy. They can just reach over and take your gun out of your holster that way, and it's pointing at you. That never occurred to Geraldo. And I bet you, Steve, Geraldo watched that interview about 20 times last night. I bet afterwards he watched it all night long, got pissed, called I bet he got Murdoch on the phone.
It's going to be able to work together. That's the question.
No.
It's going to resolve itself?
No.
Dissipate? Or is there going to be a blow-up and a confrontation?
Oh, it's going to get worse because social media, everyone on Twitter is doing what we're doing, talking about it, and Geraldo is reading all of it and getting pissed.
Key here is management. If I'm reading it right, management has made a decision to let these guys go after each other.
Well, what...
And straighten it would have been last night, and we won't really know until...
Tonight. What Geraldo may end up doing, I'm not kidding, by the way, he may challenge Bongino to a boxing match because Geraldo has, does some boxing with, with all these glass-jawed fake fights, like Mickey Rourke used to do. He might challenge him to a boxing match, Geraldo, and get his butt whipped by Bongino. Bongino will have to hold back.
Would go along with that.
Yeah. Yeah, they're desperate for ratings. Hey caller, why do you think they hate each other so much?
I don't know. So it's out of control. I think Fox News need to just take a deep breath with him coming on there for a while.
Geraldo, yeah.
He's going to get his stuff in a row.
Mm-hmm. All right, hey, listen, thanks for the call. Let's take one more quick call before we break. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name?
Oh, Russ from Connecticut, Brian.
Hey, Connecticut, what's up?
Hey, Keith, you're the first person I've heard of your importance to talk about how Geraldo helped the homeless problem. I worked into and out of New York in the 70s and watched the articles every day in the New York Post, and he was right to bring out the problems with the mental hospitals and stuff, but typical liberal overkill, they threw the baby out with the bathwater and just shut them down and loose on the streets.
Yeah, and they never left.
Are you talking about the mental patients or?
Yeah. No, the mental patients.
Geraldo is unloosed on the country. That's a good one, Steve. The mental patients I'm talking about.
Well, what he did, what Geraldo's reporting on Willowbrook did was result in the shutting down of America's mental facilities, mental hospitals. And they released them on the streets, and that's where they are now. And they've never left. And there's, not that there didn't need to be reform, but it's like you said, yeah. I mean, how much...
Over the last couple of nights that they've had this little conflict going, who would you say has come out on top, Geraldo or Bongino?
Oh, Bongino. At the end last night, I thought it was late night Jerry Springer, but at the end last night, Bongino was shocked, I think. He looked when Geraldo said, I'll kick your whatever. Mm-hmm. Bongino just looked at him like in total disbelief. He didn't start laughing. I thought he was going to...
Well, okay, here's what happened, though, because Bongino wasn't in control either. When you're on the air and you get angry, okay, you lose control of your filters when you're on the air and start saying things that you wouldn't normally say in ways you wouldn't say it. And I saw Bongino's lips quivering. He was so pissed off, and he wasn't in control of what was coming out of his mouth.
Both right on the edge.
Oh, yes.
And it was only a question of who was going to lose control and take a physical...
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I don't know. I guess it was the end of the segment. All right, listen, we gotta take our top of the hour break. So thanks for calling. And if you're on hold, don't go anywhere. Our number toll free 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. We'll be back right after this.
Got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beat. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone at 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net. Have you gone without insurance through the Affordable Care Act because you thought you couldn't afford it? The times are changing. I have exciting news to share with you from I Will Advisors. With the signing of the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, the government has increased the subsidies available to people buying insurance through the marketplace. In fact, even people making over 400% of the federal poverty level can get insurance now and not pay more than 8.5% of their income. There's talk of people currently paying less than $100 per month, and you could possibly pay $0 per month with these new changes. It doesn't cost anything to check, but everyone must take action. The special election period will end, but the sooner you take action, the sooner you can start saving money. Call Dan at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. Brian Craig here. I've been telling you for years how great MyPillow products are, but don't just take my word for it. This is one of our listeners, Todd. He bought the MyPillow mattress topper, and he called us live on the radio to tell us about his experience with the MyPillow mattress topper.
Yeah, I'm calling to get testimonials about my MyPillow topper.
You ordered the MyPillow, the mattress topper?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Well, I was thinking about buying a new mattress because my old mattress was getting old. So my wife's like, why don't you try that pillow, that mattress top? So I went on, I used your promo code Kane. I got a great price. Got it home, and I've been using it for the last 3 nights. It's fantastic.
Oh, that's awesome.
It feels like a whole new mattress.
I talked to other listeners with the MyPillow mattress topper, and they come in all sizes. The mattress companies have turned into con artists. When I was a kid, mattresses were two-sided. You'd have the mattress, then after a while you'd flip it over. Now you can't flip mattresses anymore. They don't make them that way anymore because people weren't buying mattresses enough. So the mattress company stopped making two-sided mattresses. And mattresses are expensive. I've had to buy a new mattress, and mattresses can cost well over, just for a regular normal mattress, over $1,000. So that MyPillow mattress topper is a big savings. It saves you from buying a new mattress and turn your whole bed into a MyPillow.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I really love it. I sleep really good.
Well, that's great. Well, I appreciate that. You guys out there, remember, promo code Kane, K-A-N-E.
Now, when you use the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com, save 30% off your MyPillow mattress topper. And receive 2 free MyPillows, but you got to use the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper. Turn your old mattress into a big MyPillow mattress. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-GET-1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE-1.
All right, third hour has begun. I'm Brian. Steve is here. What's up?
Make one comment. Throw it out to see if anybody else has had the same reaction as me or feels differently. But for a while there was
Mary,
a real battle
$20 super
going on,
sticker.
especially
Thank
at night.
you. Thank you for that $20 super sticker, Mary. Everybody thank Mary.
One America and Fox.
Yeah.
I have found, I don't know if it has to do with the material that they've been working with over the past couple nights, which is certainly, wild stuff. I found that I've drifted totally back to Fox now. For a while I was going back and forth and listening to both, but Fox has, for now, won me over. I was wondering if anybody else I haven't even been watching.
Well, it depends on when you're talking about. The prime time on Fox is good. I like I like Greg Kelly on Newsmax. I watch Greg Kelly, but when Greg Kelly is done, I don't stick. I'm gone. I'm gone somewhere else. And it's usually Tucker. It would be usually he's on at 7. He ends at 8, and I'll usually go to Tucker Carlson is the cable news show of record. So yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's true.
But the daytime though, the news part, the opinion programs at Fox are different. The news portion, which is the daytime on Fox, is rhino left-wing garbage that I find mostly unwatchable, especially Neil Cavuto. I mean, when he had Liz Cheney on doing this PR piece for her, and then when no follow-ups.
Bad programming yesterday. They gave way too much exposure to all the Afghan.
Well, because they want the war to continue for some reason. Steve, there was yesterday. I couldn't believe there's huge news yesterday. There's the 2 stories that clear Matt Gaetz completely. And then the police officers being arrested. The police officer being arrested in that shooting in Minneapolis. I turn on Fox to see what's going on. Stand by, Senator Lindsey Graham with a press conference, and he comes out and, oh my goodness, and he started praising John McCain. Oh, if John McCain were alive, I'd be speaking second. What was that about? Why was he fantasizing about John McCain?
I'll tell you exactly what it was about. Bad programming.
Yeah.
It was about.
Yeah.
But off that and on to what we're talking.
I was some of this in the first hour. There's some terrible things about to happen. In the Derek Chauvin George Floyd trial, the defense will be resting tomorrow, Friday. The court's taking a weekend off. And then Monday, jury deliberations begin. I found out yesterday that one of the jury members lives in this neighborhood where the looting and burning has been taking place. They've been going home to that every night. And I think what we've seen this week is just a preview of next week when this jury deliberation begins and ends.
I don't know how. I mean, it's unfortunate that second incident happened in the middle of the trial, but I don't see how you could sit on that jury and render a fair verdict, no matter what you thought. Vote for to walk home through all the burning fires, bonfire of the vanities. I don't see how any.
Well, if you don't, they know, because they're not sequestered, they know if they don't satisfy the mob, their entire metropolitan area, Minneapolis, a big city, could burn down. So, I mean, there should be a mistrial declared.
Left to burn.
Well, this was just kind of like a dry run this week. BrooklynCenter is just like a small area. Now they're it's like Kendall versus all of Miami. You know what I mean? So now they'll be moving from BrooklynCenter to all of Minneapolis when this happens next week. And there's definite reasonable doubt in this Derek Chauvin case with some of these witnesses that have come forward, even the prosecution witnesses. And I said definitely reasonable doubt, but definite doubt. But you can either one's fine with me. But yeah. And the jury has to come back with the harsh verdict or they're in trouble. And this poor police officer, why did they have to put her in the orange jumpsuit for the mugshot?
It's so annoying. I can't stand it.
Well, how do you think she feels? Huh?
It just shows that there's no way you can get a fair trial here.
No.
They railroaded this woman. There is no way you can watch that film or that period of television we're talking about last night. There's no way you can watch that thing and not understand it was an accident.
Yeah.
You think she would? I mean, it's...
Yeah.
infuriatingly stupid.
And she's being railroaded. I mean, there was no investigation. Did they have a grand jury? Was there a grand jury indictment? How could they have done this process? This didn't even, come on. They had her in jail by Wednesday. She's out on bail, but they had her in jail by Wednesday. There was no investigation. They just went and picked her up and charged her.
Exactly, to calm things down. It's exactly what they were afraid.
Well, apparently it worked, because I didn't see any stories of violence last night. But it could be there's just nothing left to loot in that little city, BrooklynCenter.
Well, they don't need something to loot necessarily. They can just go on a rampage.
Well, hopefully they're not moving to Minneapolis proper, the big city, because the prosecution, the defense is about to rest their case. And I thought it was out. This judge is a jerk in this Chauvin case. George Floyd's friend, who we know gave him the. Oh, by the way, George Floyd's girlfriend was the high school teacher for Daunte Wright, the kid that got shot on Sunday. Can you believe this? Yeah, small world. Yeah. And by the way, it's all over the news. The jury knows about that too. But George Floyd's friend that sold him the drugs that were in his system said he didn't want to testify, take the fifth. The judge won't let the defense call him. He should be able to call him and let him take the fifth on the stand. That's outrageous. The jury needs to see that. There's no justice in Minneapolis. There's no fair trial in Minneapolis. Not for these two. It's pretty bad. It's very bad. And now we got a left-wing Justice Department with Biden. There's no recourse even through the federal system for these two. And I don't think this lady cop's going to be able to mount a major defense. Things are so scary. Who are the high-profile lawyers that would represent her?
You want to know how high the rot goes, because I wouldn't. They shouldn't even be carrying the trial on at this point. This should be a mistrial.
It should be, absolutely, and I think we're the first to call for that. When I knew the jury wasn't sequestered, but I kind of forgot about it until I heard yesterday when they said one of the jury members lives in that neighborhood where the looting's been happening. So every night they've been going home from court to burning, to looting, and then in the morning they go back to the courthouse through the smoke and the rubble that's left over from the night before. How are they on this Derek Chauvin jury when they're experiencing that every night? This is really.
Scott in Apocalypse Now, where he comes out and he says, "I love the smell."
Oh, that was Robert Duvall. Robert Duvall, yeah. It was close. Right, you're. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hey, good morning. This is Nick, 46.
Mm-hmm.
And Bongino, I watched that last night. And if I ain't mistaken, right at the end of it, Geraldo called Bongino was.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yes.
They didn't come.
Yes.
And they weren't on the same set, because I'm sure Geraldo would have punched Bongino. He was so mad.
I don't know that that's true. He was mad. There's no getting around that.
They weren't on the same set. I'm almost positive they were, wherever they were.
I agree. I don't think they're on the same set.
And another thing too, with this police officer shot this.
Did you, one second before you go ahead, one closing question on what we just talked about. Did you find the exchange between Geraldo and Bongino last night, did you find it watchable and or amusing?
No, I didn't. It very much upset me. They started the whole thing off with Geraldo started, well, let me say something from the night before they had that big argument.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Listen to them. It's so silly. You can tell they can't stand each other, but then they talk about my friend. That drives me nuts.
What do you think the beef is with Bongino? Geraldo doesn't like the new kid on the block questioning his reporting and all, but what do you think Bongino's beef is?
For control, it's a battle for the future. It's like a lion's pride, with battling for the leadership.
Well, I also think Bongino, not that he's young and all, but I don't really think he was around during Geraldo's heyday. So he does, so he doesn't have that same awe over the great Geraldo Rivera that a lot of other people have, because he wasn't around back when he was doing all that reporting. He was,
Last night, a lot of what Bongino was saying was that Rivera talks like he used to be a cop or a soldier, and he ain't been either one. He's been a reporter.
He said being a sports reporter doesn't make you a baseball player, he said, right? Reporting on the baseball game doesn't make you a baseball player. Yeah.
He really knows how to get...
That was a good one. That's when Geraldo lost it, by the way.
Right.
See, Geraldo's one of those reporters who, he had the long hair, and he would put on like a helmet and like some paramilitary garb, and he'd go out in the street and interview like soldiers or something, and he thought he was like Robert he thought he was like in Vietnam or something. He thinks he's a veteran, a cop, because he's a combat reporter.
You look at it, you see that part of the battle also, and it's an interesting thing to note the difference with Geraldo. When Hannity came in, Hannity knows how to take that step back and let Bongino enjoy that, the feeling he has of being the new leader of the pack. But Bongino won't stand for it.
I'm going to make a prediction about this. Okay, I'll make it first. Geraldo will leave Fox News eventually over this. Geraldo will leave Fox News Channel over this at some point.
Gonna move him over. That means he ends up over at.
I don't know.
One.
I don't know. He will leave. He's not going to let his reporting be questioned. That's his whole. He questioned his whole identity. You heard how many times you heard, I filed 10,000 stories, and all this stuff, So yeah, that was no. He'll leave Fox News over this. Yeah. What do you think, caller?
Well, it wouldn't hurt my feelings if he did.
He must have made a lot of money back in those days, because he hasn't really had meaningful work in a long time.
In the twilight of his career for a long time.
Yeah. Hey, listen, we got to take a break. Thanks for the call. All right, it's 19 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll be back right after this.
This is Dr. Matez from the Biostation West Delray. The Biostation is America's premier age management
Steve Kane Show.
due to the extensive array of options available. At the
Hold on.
Biostation, we take your
Steve
health
Kane Show, hold on.
seriously. Our men's health program is doctor supervised with multiple options to treat erectile dysfunction and low testosterone. Erectile dysfunction may be a sign of a more serious issue, and our medical team can help you get to the root cause. Let us help you get to the source of the issues that are holding
Steve Kane
you back
Show.
from leading a fulfilling life. If
Hold
any
on.
degree of erectile dysfunction is holding you back, call me immediately at 561-320-8893. That's 561-320-8893.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm excited to announce my new product, My Slippers. They took me over 2 years to develop because I didn't want just an ordinary slipper. My slippers are meant to be worn all day long, no matter what you're doing, whether you're inside or outside. My slippers come with an exclusive 3-tier cushioning system that you won't find in any other slipper. It combines 2 layers of foam, including my proprietary My Pillow foam and a patented impact gel made from U.S. soybeans. My 3-tier cushioning system is going to help relieve pressure points, provide that micro support you need for all-day comfort, and help prevent fatigue. Not only that, my slippers are made with high-quality leather and a premium indoor-outdoor sole that make them extremely durable. I personally guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable slippers you'll ever own.
And right now, save 40% off the MyPillow My Slippers when you use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout at MyPillow.com or call 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane here. There's only one opening on the board. Yeah.
Live the moment of the last 2 nights to remember something. Who was it that called the other between Bongino?
Geraldo.
Who was it that called the other one a son of a bitch?
That was Geraldo. Called that to Bongino. Yeah. You know, if I were Bongino, see, for me, if I were Bongino, I see only positives in all of this because he's got his new radio show going, Publicity. If I were Bongino, I would tweet this morning that I'm having Bette Midler, even though it probably isn't true, that I would tweet, though, that I'm having Bette Midler on the show to talk about Geraldo today. That would flip out Geraldo. I'm not going to get into it, but you guys remember do you remember what Bette Midler said out there about Geraldo? Yeah, Google it, people, Google it. Good morning, you're on the radio. That would freak him out. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Good morning.
Yeah, Wheezy, good morning.
Wheezy, what's up?
Good morning. Wheezy's here, Jim Bob.
What?
Wheezy's here, Jim Bob, she said.
I was speaking to Jim Bob. He wanted to know where Wheezy was. So
Where we? She's talking about herself in the third person, Steve.
Oh, my Lord.
My name ain't Jim Bob, so I ain't talking about nobody in the third person.
You're talking about yourself in the third person.
Costello routine this morning. No Abbott and Costello routine. And you're Abbott. All right? So let's go for what I called about. Now, wow. And the reason I say that is because the inconsiderate thing and racist statement that y'all make and don't even realize it's racist and disgusting.
Example. Give me an example.
I ain't got to that.
Just give me an example. I'm trying to follow what you're saying, and I need an example.
If you ever let me finish, you could follow. Now,
I beg your pardon?
She's doing her Geraldo imitation from last night, Steve.
I'm doing a Geraldo invitation. You want me to hang up? You prefer that?
You hang up. I mean, I want to hear this racism. We certainly don't want to be saying racist things on the radio, so could you please tell us what was said?
I think it's disgusting of what y'all just finished saying. And
what?
Said what?
Oh, my God. Wheezy, what? What did we say?
That's racist.
Oh, my God. Wheezy's... Would somebody call an ambulance for this?
She's losing it. What did we say that was racist, Wheezy?
I'm driving.
Well, get to the point. What did we say that was racist?
I stopped and I asked you to... You made a statement about we said something racist. I asked for you to repeat the statement so we would know what you're talking about, and I've hit a wall after that. You're not... Evidently, you can't answer the question.
Yes, I can.
Well, then tell me where... Excuse me. Then tell me what it is.
Okay, the statement is, when Brian just said that he is more concerned about the fact that the woman was wearing an orange jumpsuit compared to this woman putting her son in a grave. How disgusting y'all sound. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm waiting for the racist. I'm waiting for the example of racism.
The racism is that you're so concerned about this white woman who killed...
Oh, white woman. Well, there you go. There's the example. Finally, she gave us the example. Wheezy, listen. Listen here, Wheezy. Enough about you. This thing about the lady cop. This thing about the lady cop, this is beyond her in this incident. We have a system of justice in this country, supposedly, where people are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, and there's something called due process. There was no investigation. She was arrested and charged to pacify a mob. They put her in the orange jumpsuit to make the mob, feel even more pacified. And it shows that the American system of justice, this is a lynch mob what's going on up there. Regardless of whether or not she's guilty or innocent, she's had no due process.
This bringing her, parading her out in an orange jumpsuit.
Yeah.
Is she supposed to get an even fair trial?
There's no due process whatsoever with this. She hung up, Steve Wheezy. She hung up. Yeah, after she said her racist comment, this white woman. All right, let's take another call. Oh my goodness, it's only Thursday. I wish this was Friday because this show's pretty hot today.
It's up a climactic show for tomorrow.
Well, you want to end on I got pissed. I lost my cool with Richie in the first hour, which I don't. I'm probably just in a bad mood today, myself personally. But anyway, good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, this is Trevor from Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, Fort Lauderdale. What's up?
Hey, something that we're missing on the jury is many of us are assuming that the jury sees it the way we do. They actually live in this environment, and I'm telling you, there's somebody on that jury saying, I don't want to live like this. I know they're being threatened. I know they're being intimidated. I know they know what their eyes saw, and I know they heard the evidence in the trial.
Yeah.
The prosecution has made some great defense. I mean, it's astonishing asking witnesses. Anybody that's watched Law and Order knows that you don't ask a question unless you know what your witness is going to say. I mean, you have an MMA wrestler telling us that he was having a conversation while being choked, and then the defense just said, well, can you have a conversation while you're being choked, and what's a tap-out? I mean, these juries know they're being manipulated. The difference is, does the jury care? But you only need one person to care to get a hung.
Well, this jury, what's happened this week... Yeah.
After not
see if one person is a holdout on this jury, they're going to be identified by the mob, and it'll be out there. It won't be secret, and they and their families and their kids are in danger. So it's not somebody that just this isn't like Henry Fonda in 12 Angry Men. You know, this is someone that's risking their entire future and the future of their lives.
That's a good look.
I kind of agree with you halfway on that, guys. But my assumption is there is that one man, two man.
Well, I don't know if you can make that assumption. I don't know who it was that mentioned 12.
Me. I mentioned it.
Angry Men is a great thing to mention. You remember the scene in 12 Angry Men when Jack Warden is on the jury? They're at the point where they don't know if the jury's going to get hung or not. And Warden's got tickets to a Yankee game that night.
Yes.
And so he, after being a strong advocate for the guilty thing, at the end of the thing, he looks at the clock and he sees that he's not going to make the game. And he says, okay, I can see the only way I'm going to get to see this game. I'll vote not guilty.
Yeah, exactly.
That was one of the great moments in film history.
Yeah.
What I'm hoping for here with what I've been saying is I'm hoping our juries that we're talking down to this jury and that this jury is more than we think they are.
If you're on the Chauvin jury, and by the way, one of the jurors lives in the neighborhood where the looting's been happening, and you're watching TV every day of the city on fire, and this tells you that if you go not guilty, that this is going to happen to your entire city, even if they come back a hung jury, that's really talk about intimidating a jury.
You go back to your home.
You can't. You couldn't go back home, and your kids would have to leave school and everything else.
Here's something else the jury knows. Whether they find Chauvin guilty or not guilty, that city's going to burn. Decision is not going to change.
If they find him guilty of the full charges, it would be less. If they find him guilty on lesser charges or a hung jury or an acquittal, it's yeah, easy for us to say when we're not in Minneapolis. Oh, hey, thanks for the call. By the way, what were you going to say, Steve?
That they're going to burn the city. The point is, how are you going to, if that being the situation, which we seem to all basically agree about, how are you going to vote guilty, even if you to a lesser charge, knowing that you got to make that walk home?
It's not about what happens to the city. It's about the jury member and their family and their kids forever, because they're going to be identified. It's beyond that. It's more personal. By the way, there was a remake that I bet you've never seen of 12 Angry Men. It was on an episode. A remake. It was on an episode of Happy Days, and Fonzie was the Henry Fonda character in the jury, and the Happy Days with Fonda. I'm sure, but I'm going to tell you how it ended. They had it was a a purse snatcher on a motorcycle, and since Fonzie was the motorcycle guy, he was able to finally convince the jury that he didn't do it because he stole the purse with his left hand as he rode by on a motorcycle, and he was riding a motorcycle made in England where the throttle is on the left side. He couldn't have grabbed the purse and been running the throttle, the motorcycle, at the same time, so he got not guilty. Fonzie, Happy Days, 12 Angry Men remake. All right, let's take our break. I'm Brian. Steve is here. I know it was very dramatic. Fonzie, Happy Days. All right, our number, toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE1. That's the number, 888-465-2631. We will be back right after this.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are State of Florida certified roofing and general contractors, focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Hurricane season is right around the corner. This gives us only a short period of time to make sure your roof and home is ready for the 2021 hurricane season. So don't delay and call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Our website is www.laportacontracting.com, where you will find our latest video and live testimonials from a few of our past clients. Our number again is 954-604-4602.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search.
All right, we are back. Yeah.
That commercial for Laporta Roofing. I think we're about ready to go. I think
Oh, Democrats. They know who you are. Yeah.
Tom just interceded when we made the calls.
Well, he does that. Yeah, Tom, yeah. Yeah, you know, if... Well, you know, I'll tell you, what he did for you was absolutely amazing. You know, because there was a problem with your homeowners association, and homeowners associations here in Florida run communities like Kim Jong-un runs North Korea, and I think there's more freedom in North Korea than with an HOA. And Tom Laporta actually dealt with and deals with the HOAs for you in instances like this, and it was a lifesaver for you because they don't like you. Now. Costco just kicked out My Pillow from the Costco stores. You believe that? Yeah. You got here. Just that, boom. Yeah. Costco has just tossed My Pillow products out of all of their stores everywhere. Because why? Because Mike Lindell stands up for Donald Trump. I mean, that's outrageous. That's outrageous. You know, I don't support boycotts because, you know, we're coming out of this terrible economic time. And, you know, what boycotts do is it hurts the employees. Mike Lindell has over 2,300 employees working at his Minnesota facility where all the My Pillow products are manufactured. And who wants to hurt people with their jobs, especially now, you know? And, you know, I've got my mattress topper. My wife ordered me the mattress topper for my birthday, which I'm really looking forward to. And the reason we're getting it is it's for me because I want it, but my wife's been telling me that she's been having some back pain at night and everything else, and I've heard just wonderful things from our listeners about the My Pillow mattress topper that's helped them with back pain. So we've got it coming, and of course, we use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. We save 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper, and also we get 2 free premium MyPillows that are coming with that mattress topper. So it's a great deal, and let me tell you, it's Mother's Day shopping season. It would make a great gift for the mom on your Mother's Day list. Mom includes your mom, your grandmother, your mother-in-law, your wife, and your daughter if she has children. There is something for everyone at MyPillow.com. Use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. You know, yesterday in the Derek Chauvin trial, they had testimony. Listen to this. This was yesterday. The defense is resting tomorrow. The defense yesterday presented medical expert testimony with Dr. David Fowler, who's a forensic pathologist, and he at one time was the chief medical examiner for the state of Maryland. And his findings are that George Floyd died of a sudden cardiac arrhythmia due to his underlying heart disease, and during the restraint by police. So he's saying that his heart disease is what killed him, not the restraint. And I mean, that's reasonable doubt right there, isn't it? If you believe this doctor, I mean, he was the chief pathologist for the state of Maryland. I mean, I don't see why not to believe a guy. He seems to be a leading expert.
I'm sure there was a guy on the other side, on the opposite side.
The prosecution witnesses were awful. The prosecution, one of their medical experts talked about how the drugs in the system was a major factor in his death. And the girlfriend of George Floyd even testified that the friend gave him the drugs in his system that led to the breathing problem. The prosecution had a terrible case, and many times, if you were watching that trial in and out, you would think the prosecution witnesses were defense witnesses. This trial's been a train wreck. It's been a real train wreck for him. And you know, I've been watching. I like Court TV. I haven't been watching it too much during this trial because we've got all these other issues going on, so it's hard to focus in on this trial. But I was very surprised to see how left-wing the anchors and people are on Court TV. They're very anti-police on Court TV. Court TV, these are people that are like former prosecutors and stuff, and they're very left-wing. I don't know who would be a cop these days. It's not a safe profession to be in. You never know when things are going to get turned upside down for you. Did you see this lady's house, the lady cop's house? They have these huge fences around it to protect her. She's basically already in the state penitentiary. They look like the fences, these very high, like the fences you would put around a jail. What do you think is going to happen to her? You think she's going to go to trial and be convicted? Well, they sent her to jail yesterday. She had to bail out. I mean, you know.
I'm talking about after the trial is over.
Well, they charged her with second-degree manslaughter. It says here her first court appearance is scheduled for today in downtown Minneapolis. Is that going to be in the same courthouse as the Chauvin trial? Oh my goodness. Oh, do you know who's representing the family of Daunte Wright? Crump. Is he the only lawyer in Minneapolis?
He's the only one that specializes in this type of.
If convicted, Officer Potter faces 10 years in prison. Businesses in downtown Minneapolis have already begun boarding up and fencing off in expectation of the jury verdict in the Derek Chauvin trial. You know, like we put up hurricane shutters and things like this. In these liberal towns, they got to put up shutters for the community.
Have to digest in the trial with the lady. But it seems to me, just at face value, there is no way anyone is ever going to convince me, given what I've seen, that this wasn't an accident.
What one? What do you mean? Yeah. 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 She'd have to have decided real quick. Yeah. And then yesterday, Sharpton had a press conference with the mother of Eric Garner with Benjamin Crump. So they got Sharpton in town. They've got Eric Garner's mother in town, you know, and with Crump.
Bank account is...
Oh. I bet you it is impossible to rent. I bet you can't find a U-Haul to rent in Minneapolis right now. I bet people who can are getting out, I would think. People that can. I mean, you know, what's coming to Minneapolis, it's like when Hurricane Katrina was coming to New Orleans and they said, get out if you can, get out if you can. I mean, I don't think we've seen something at this level. Because you know, I know a lot of people look at L.A. and say, oh, Rodney King and O.J. Those were like years apart. You know, this is like in the course of a week, we've got the Dante Wright issue, and we've got this George Floyd trial in the same week. A city has never had these two things going on in the same city, in the same courthouse at the same time. This is, you know, these trials should be stopped. This should all be stopped. And I'll tell you, they need to shut down people entering the city. Because right now, these agitators from around America are traveling to Minneapolis because the jury deliberations begin on Monday, and they have to be in place when the jury comes back. Yeah, they need to shut down the road, shut down the airports, the bus stations, the train stations. You know, and another thing too, they arrested 60 people the other night at the riots. I didn't hear one reporter ask the police when they booked them. They have ID, of course. Are they local or out of state? The people they arrested. I bet you most every one of them was from out of state. That was there on standby for the Derek Chauvin verdict. It's what's going on. It's not right. I mean, it's a big, you know, and you put that together with this packing of the Supreme Court. Our justice system is about ready to collapse with these Democrats. Packing the Supreme Court, arresting people with no investigations. You know, having a trial like this during riots. No, this is it's pretty bad. Listen, No. Now listen, we're going to take our last break of the day. When we get back, it'll be time for the Gold Report. All right, we'll be right back with the Gold Report after this. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian. Steve is here. Our number 1-888-COCAINE-1. We'll be back right after this.
Hi, Brian Craig here. We've been telling you on the Steve Kane Show, for coronavirus testing, stop by Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs and Any Lab Test Now of Boca. One of our longtime sponsors, Dr. Mitch Matez of the Boca Raton Center for Age Management, went to Any Lab Test Now of Boca for coronavirus testing this weekend, and he called in live on the radio to share his experience.
Listen, Brian, I have a great experience to tell you about. I went to Any Lab Test Now on Saturday to get COVID-19 tested. And it was awesome. We had a little experience where we had somebody in our close circle that tested positive after 10 days, by the way. Went and had a test. It took 10 days to get the results. We all went into a little bit of a panic, obviously.
Steve Kane Show.
Called up Any Lab Test Now. It was about maybe 11:30 in the morning on
What's
Saturday.
your name?
They said, come on right on over. I was anonymous. I didn't
Hold on.
announce myself. We went over there. We got there about noon. We checked in. 2 minutes later, they took us back, did our test. We sat in the waiting room for less than 15 minutes. They brought us back, gave us our results, which were negative, and we were on our way home. And a little shout out to Brittany, the nice young lady who did our test. It was completely painless. It was quick. It was simple. It was easy. And
Hey.
it gave you both the IgM and the
Steve Kane Show.
antibodies, which tells you if you have the infection now or if you've been exposed to it in the past.
Now, you went to Any Lab Test Now of Boca?
Boca Raton, yeah, in the Sandalfoot Plaza.
Awesome.
It was awesome. It really was. It was cool, and it's easy, it's simple, and I'm telling you, that's the way to go. Forget this 10-day nonsense.
Doctor recommended. Can I say that in the commercial now? Doctor recommended Any Lab Test Now of Boca
There you
Raton.
go. Doctor recommended. Yeah, it was really kind of cool, and it was wonderful, and it was easy. And listen, go over and get tested. This is the test you want to get. It tells you point blank, did you have it, do you have it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
That's great. So Dr. Mitch Matez personally recommending Any Lab Test Now of Boca
You heard Dr. Mitch Vitez. Any lab test now of Boca is doctor recommended for coronavirus testing. They're located in the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsboro on the east side of 441. Give them a call, 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood over by the Coral Square Mall. Their number, 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on The Steve Kane Show.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WNN.
All right, now the moment we have all waited for, with bated breath, on The Steve Kane Show, The Gold Report. Brought to you by William Youngerman. William Youngerman, one of the top dealer of the precious metals, really anywhere in the world. His expertise and his knowledge on matters of precious metals is second to none. He has been a sponsor of the Steve Kane Show now for over 17 years. And each day at this time he calls in and tells us what is happening with those precious metals. William, how are you today?
Great, Steve. How you doing?
I'm doing too. Super.
Good. Well, the precious metals are doing good too. As I alluded to this week, that we could be set up to break through the resistance area on gold, which has been $1,750, and that's exactly what we did this morning early on. We needed to close above that $1,750, and we'll see if that happens before the day's out. But it looks like it's trying to. Yesterday we saw gold pull back to $9.40 after hitting that $1,750 number, and then getting sold down to $1,736.40. That was down $9.40 on the day. Silver managed to go up 7 cents yesterday at $25.40 the ounce. A lot of physical selling of or buyers for silver right now. Short supplies are everywhere. Platinum up $18 yesterday at $1,168, while palladium was down $11 at $25 or $2,590. As I said this morning, gold broke out through the 1750, got up to 1753 this morning before being sold back down right now to 1748.50. That's still up $12.10. This will be, as I said, a very important day today and tomorrow as to how gold closes and how it sets us up for the going forward next week. Silver up 20 cents right now at $25.60 the ounce. We did get up to $25.82 so far this morning. Platinum up $18 at $11.86, and palladium up $48 at $2,638 the ounce. Bitcoin's around 62,700, and the dollar showing some weakness. Oil up around $63 a barrel now. A lot of things in the marketplace that are spelling inflation going forward big time. So you've got to protect your investment portfolio with the precious metals, the only real money that has proven itself for over 5,000 years.
Well,
all right, now William Youngerman is located right here in Boca Raton at 150 East Palmetto Park Road, just east of US 1 Federal Highway, on the south side of Palmetto Park Road, on the first floor of the Bank of America building. Find them online, WilliamYoungerman.com. They open at 10, so you can give them a call to 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010. All right, William Youngerman, we'll finish out the week tomorrow. That's right, which is awesome and unusual. Thanks so much. Great. All right. Yep. Okay. All right, let's just go back to the phones. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
This is John in Iowa.
Iowa. Hey, Iowa. You're on the air. What's on your mind?
I got a question for you. And I need to see if you know if there's been a letter.
You want to know what? What's your question?
A letter sent from...
I don't... Yeah, this was... Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. That was a few weeks ago. President Trump told the Republican Party to stop using his image for fundraising purposes. He's using his own image to raise money through his PAC. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah, but they're still going to do it. I think they're probably still doing it and still going to do it. Oh. Okay. All right. Take care. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Oh, hey, John. I hope this call goes better than the one the other day.
Oh, yeah. That's all right. You got this thing nailed. The attitude of the Democrats. I get this email from a Democrat representative every day. It's exactly lynch mob mentality. Let's get the amberts out there, hang them. We know guilty. The attitude is
Steve Kane Show.
Bizarre, and it's mostly bizarre.
Steve Kane Show.
The black people are imitating.
Hello.
Like slave masters.
Hello.
Good God.
Yeah. All right, John. Take care. A little better than yesterday. I liked it better when he was yelling at me and screaming. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hey, Brian, I'm standing behind Bongino.
You mean physically? He's Bongino. Can you put him on the phone? You're behind him. That means he's in front of you?
No, I mean, he's better than Rivera. And I'm like,
yeah. Better than Rivera? Yeah.
He hasn't walked the beat, has he?
Well, I did once hear Geraldo say that he heard the gunshot that killed John Lennon from his window. He had his window open and heard the gunshot. I've heard Geraldo say that before. Do you believe that story, Steve? No, I don't either, but I heard him say it.
I take personal exception to that. When, as a matter of fact, when the day John Lennon was killed, I lived right across the street from the Dakota, which is where Lennon lived. And I remember the day that he was shot.
Did you hear it?
It was
Geraldo did.
17th floor.
Oh, Geraldo did. He heard it. He was in another building down the street. He was just down the street. I heard him say that one.
Apartments. Boy, that brings back memories.
Yeah, so what else do you got, caller? I'm sorry. You're behind Bongino. He's better than Geraldo. Okay.
He at least the Bongino's been a Secret Service agent and walked.
Well, you know, I kind of feel like Geraldo, like Fox News having him there is almost like charity. You know what I mean? I mean, I grew up with Geraldo, and I liked his daytime show. Remember once Geraldo had on the Midget Clan? Does anybody remember that episode? Oh my goodness, he had the Midget Clan on yeah. I'm not kidding. I'm serious. Remember when he got his nose broken?
I just want to see him get off the air. What?
Why? Why do you want Geraldo off the air?
No good. That's for one.
Nah. He's kind of off the air, though, isn't he? He just comes in to say a couple of words here and there. If you're so good... Yeah.
Yes, of course. You tell me you don't really enjoy watching Bongino and Geraldo go at it at this point in time?
I think Bongino would tear him up.
Well, he does. Don't you enjoy watching it?
Yeah, I think it's great.
Okay, all right.
I get my news from Brian, but whatever.
God help you. God help you. Oh, man. Oh, he's behind Bongino. Yeah, you know, I don't have a vested interest in either of them, really.
Wash, we have a vested interest in the program.
Oh, yeah, it's a train wreck. Everybody slows down for a train wreck. No. Hey, yeah. Oh, I just want to remind everyone, we made this announcement the other day for the first time, and, you know, Wings Plus in Coral Springs voted best wings in South Florida by Sun Sentinel readers here in South Florida, and, yeah. And stop in yourself, lunch, dinner. They're open 7 days a week for takeout, for eating in. Wings Plus in Coral Springs, the Sample Road location is about a mile west of University Drive on the south side of Sample Road in Coral Springs. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show. I knew they were the best wings in South Florida many years ago. Sun Sentinel finally caught up and put it in the paper last week. But that's some great news. Oh, look who's on the line. Richard Pearl, whose show Richard Pearl on Politics will start just moments from now. Hey, Richard Pearl, what's on your mind today?
The court hacking of
got a box here.
Democrats said they were going to do it. You know, the problem with
Sarah.
On the conservative
A box
side
from
is
Sarah.
that we always believe that the Democrats mean what they say, but just not as bad.
Yeah. Oh, this is from Sarah. Disney World t-shirt? Oh my gosh, there's more. Another shirt. Oh, one's for me, one's for my wife. I guess one for my daughter, too. Right? There's more. Well, it sounds like it. And, you know, Richard Pearl's show is weekdays at 9 a.m. following the Steve Kane Show on this radio station. So don't miss that show and don't touch that dial. He comes up next on this radio station. His store, Simply Natural, is located in the city of Sunrise, just north of Sunset Strip on the east side of University Drive. Open 7 days a week, 11 a.m. till 9 p.m. And the number over there is Simply Natural, 954-741-4045. Have a great show. Richard Pearl will be tuned in, and we'll talk tomorrow. Well, Steve, you want to sign us off?
Time we are out of here, and we hope you will be back to join us.
This is nice.
To wind up the week tomorrow.
This is I'll show this in a second.
On behalf of our technical engineer Tyler Kane.
Yes. Well, that's okay. I'm in trouble.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9.
This is all from Sarah. This is a Spirit jersey. It's Star Wars. This is really cool. Okay. And then on the back it says Tatooine. It's on the front too, but can you see that's Luke Skywalker at his house? This is awesome, Sarah. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, this is awesome. And that's it. Oh my God, that is awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sarah. That's great. Now, everybody, make sure that you like the video, okay? Harley Ann King, $9.99 super chat. Thank you. Everyone thank Harley Ann King for that super chat. Thank you so much. And thank you, Sarah, for these shirts. These are very nice shirts. I love that Star Wars Spirit jersey. I will definitely wear that. That is very nice. Thank you very much. I was a little tired today. Got a lot going on, and I got a lot to do today. Oh, Jim Bob, you got a shout out, a direct shout out from Wheezy. Wheezy really lost her cool. Who lost their cool more? Oh, thank you, Eric. Who lost their cool more? Geraldo Rivera with Dan Bongino, or Wheezy with me and Steve today? Who lost their cool the most? I think Wheezy. More than anybody. World of Disney, it's spring. Oh, yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. All right, guys, I got to take off because I got a lot to do. But make sure you like the video before you leave. That helps a lot, guys. And I'll see you later. Take care, guys. Thanks, Sarah, for the